love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
We can't all be beautiful.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride.
You're in the danger zone.
Totally, back row.
Lights, camera, action. We are here in the Danger Zone. Friday night festivities, brews with the crew, whatever you want to call it, brother. Murph, what is up, man?
Oh, what is going on this feel-good Friday night in the Danger Zone? As always, this is where we like to hang out. We like to relax, kick back, have a few brews with the crew, maybe do some picks, do some fantasy talk, do some NFL talk. Try not to talk about the Jets because it's so miserable when you go 3-14, but that's okay. There's always stuff to talk about, and we always have a good time doing it. So how are you, Dane?
I am better than I was last week, sir. For one, Nate mentioned it, man. Mets are looking way better. I'm still skeptical, not gonna lie. But Freddie Peralta, let's go. Aside from that, man, I had this morning to prepare for this show, and I pulled some stuff together. But little did I know, right before we would kick off, we would have way more important news. Yes, here we are. As Nate said earlier, man, nobody loves breaking news on a Friday more than Dangerous. I wouldn't go that far, but a lot of.
You know what? My reaction when I saw it was shit. Of course, like an hour and a half before the show, this happens. I got to try to remember who these people are and stuff. But memories for
younger chaps.
It's for you. It's for you to remember to put a slide together so I can look at it. That's what it is.
As I did, sir. Before we get into it, man, I do want to find out about your week, but let's just, many people I'm sure that aren't typically here on Friday nights are probably tuning in now, because, there is Jets in the news and nuggets, just ripping the scab right off, man. Aaron Wilson, a Houston Texans reporter, mind you. He was first on the scene breaking this, and basically, I mean, we've been waiting all week, right? Like all month, really. Charles London is still here. Like, why? Well, he's not. Now, did he get fired tonight? I don't know. All I know is we're finding out about it tonight. Charles London, gone. Eric Washington, Roosevelt Williams, Scott Turner, Aaron Curry, Alonso Escalante. He sounds spicy. All let go. We have major openings finally, abundantly obvious openings now. Now, again, we might have already put it out there. We had these openings. I don't know, but all these guys let go. And then Aaron Wilson, this is the real shocker. Aaron Wilson says Tanner Engstrand remains on Aaron Glenn's staff while his role, his responsibilities, and the structure of the NFL's 29th ranked total offense, scoring offense, his role expected to change and is still being defined. That really is the whatever in the needle in the haystack there. That's it, man. Tanner Engstrand, we all thought would be running it back. Will he? I don't know. What do you think when you see these tweets pop off?
Well, I think it's the first. I mean, the main thing to me is like the timing. The timing feels weird to me. Why did he wait so long to do this? Like, if that was the plan, did it take you that long to evaluate your staff? And like, I don't know, man. You saw them all season. You saw the results of it all season. I don't understand that. That doesn't really make sense to me. But I think that you needed to make some changes. So it is in a sense a positive. Maybe not for these guys who are going home without a job, but I'm sure they'll be fine. But overall, it's got to be a positive. I mean, you got to make changes whenever you go 3-14 and you don't show a lick of life in December. I mean, something's got to change. I'm excited to see where we'll move from here with this, but the timing is weird to me. I feel like now he's got to battle other brand new coaches and stuff, looking at the same guys for positions, and it's going to be interesting. The timing is weird, but overall, it was the right thing to do. The Tanner Engstrand thing is, I'm not a fan of adjusting. The dude had the worst quarterback room in the NFL. I can't necessarily blame him for that. Like if we have a whole different quarterback room next year and we get the same results, then yeah, okay, makes sense, right? But I feel like he needed at least a mulligan. With Steve Wilkes, it was like we had talent on that defense and you weren't doing shit with them. So like it makes sense. Tanner Engstrand, I felt like you needed to see what he had with a different group of guys.
What? And I agree. I think this is majority of this is the right news. A weird time, obviously. With Tanner, I wonder. Like, I'm like you. I do give him a second shot at this job with a higher floor under center. But then the more I chew on this, I'm like, maybe maybe his role is being changed because we know we have an improvement coming in that wants that job. What just hypothetically, Murph, what if Engstrand walked last year so that Josh McCown could run next year?
You got to drop the Josh McCown stuff. Come on, man.
Dude, I mean, who else is out there?
That's what I'm saying. Who else is out there? And that includes Josh McCown. He hasn't proven himself to be some offensive coordinating genius. You gotta. I can't jump on that bandwagon yet. I'm not saying he won't be successful, and I'd be thrilled if he was because I like Josh McCown. I think one of our better quarterback seasons in the last 10 years was Josh McCown. I don't know. I would like to see him do well. I would be down for him to be a QB coach. Got to be better than the running back guy that we had as our QB coach. That makes no sense. So, but throwing him into the offensive coordinator position with no experience doing it, really, I don't love that. I don't know.
again, I got to see. I mean, we obviously have to see it play out. Then we can circle back and be like, why was the timing now? Oh, the timing was now because such. Maybe there will be some clarity. Maybe there never will be clarity. Like, who the hell knows with this team? But I like to think of it like, well, the timing. Maybe it's wise that it came out now. I really don't know. I don't know, man. But how many of these guys knew they were going to be looking for a job? Because it would be kind of shitty if they just found out tonight. I'll say that. Regardless how bad they were, like they still deserve to know sooner than now. But we'll see. We'll see how many latch on and how many don't, and then we'll know if we should have kept them or not. But another guy, a guy we have here. Let me take the pressure off you, Murph. I'm shooting all these questions at you, brother. We have another guy that can chime in, give us his thoughts, not only on this news, but of the timing of it, maybe potential replacements. I mean, whatever he's got cooking, I'm here for. What do you say we bring him out, Murph?
Hey, bring him out. Bring him out.
Let's do that. Without further ado, the one, the only, the JetsWard on YouTube, Ryan Ward. Welcome, brother.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
What's going on, Ryan?
Long time no see. It's good to be back.
Absolutely. Good to have you back, buddy. So
Thanks,
what are
guys.
what are you thinking as of 2 hours ago when this stuff drops? What's going through the intrinsic mind of Ryan Ward?
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy with these coaching changes. Yeah, a little bit weird at the timing, but we were also expecting like a week or two ago, not hearing anything about the defensive coordinator openings, and then we get 8 of them at once. So I think London needed to go. Obviously, we can't have a running back coach as a quarterback coach. It doesn't work. Eric Washington, there was rumors that the players didn't get along with him. It was his way or the highway, so there were issues there. And the defensive line took a major step back, so I'm glad he's gone. The linebacker group was the worst in the NFL, so Aaron Curry being gone was a big move that I thought needed to happen too. A little weird with the Engstrand news. My opinion on it is I think they're going to bring in a vet guy to really oversee everything, like a Doug Peterson or something like that. So I would really love that. I know, I think they said Todd Haley last year was somebody they were interested in bringing in. I would really like a Doug Peterson to come in. Super Bowl winning head coach, successful offensive coordinator, can be an assistant head coach as well, but also help Tanner Engstrand along the way, and played quarterback in the NFL too, so can help out with the quarterbacks.
Hey, plus he is experienced at having backup level quarterbacks and being successful with them.
Exactly.
Hence that Super Bowl.
Exactly. And I think I like Tanner Engstrand, and Murph, you nailed it on the head with it, saying that he didn't have anything to work with last year. Justin Fields was a disaster. Tyrod Taylor was always hurt, and Brady Cook never got any better. So what are you going to do, especially with your number one receiver out? Breece Hall can't do everything by himself. Your number one tight end got injured and was knocked out for the rest of the year. You were working with really not much. So I think with an actual competent quarterback in there, whether it be a Kyler Murray, a Kirk Cousins, or God forbid Tua Tagovailoa comes over here, something like that.
Over my dead body.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's probably going to happen. It's that. And I don't think it would be an awful decision. Would I like it at first? No. But as long as he gets cut there and we get to pay him minimum contract, not a bad bridge option. I think Malik Willis is going to price us out, so I don't know if he's coming here. But overall, with the coaching decisions, I'm happy it's finally done. And next, I would just like to see that Jim Leonard's hired as the DC. That's all I want to hear next.
I do want to just give a quick rebuttal back there. Like, do we have to, and I know you're not saying this, Ryan, but I'm saying, do we have to demote Tanner Engstrand to bring in a Doug Peterson? Can't we just hire him as an offensive assistant? Pass game coordinator, whatever you want to do, like label it whatever you want. But he is basically like, hey, make sure that, Engstrand doesn't poop his diaper whenever he's trying to call plays, and just make sure that we have a competent offense. Like if he's not doing it, then I need you to step up and direct him in the right way. Like that's your job.
And that's what I think he would be brought in to do. I don't think there's going to be any demotion for Tanner Engstrand or anything like that. I think the wording of this is going to get all Jets fans worried. Like, is Tanner Engstrand really safe? I honestly think they just want to bring in a vet guy to help Tanner Engstrand along. I think Tanner Engstrand, I thought, did a solid job with what he was given last year. Our wide receivers, if you look at their plays, they were open. We just didn't have a quarterback to hit them. And I just think bringing in some knowledge, some older generation, some vet guy to come in and assist him, I think would be very beneficial to him. And bring in somebody like a Byron Leftwich as an actual quarterback coach to help out a young quarterback too. I think that would be a great move.
Exactly. Especially if you're going to sign Tua, you want to have a lefty quarterback coach too, right? Like,
yeah. Bring somebody in. Like, if you can get Mark Brunell over here in some way, shape, or form, bring him over. Byron Leftwich has done it. He was somebody I mentioned because he's played the position, but also was a successful quarterback coach for Pittsburgh for a while. And I think he'd be somebody you can look to. But I think the news that the coach is coming out now, odd, but I think it's really good news for us Jets fans that finally some of these changes are starting to come down.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you 100%. I also think that the bar that these incoming hires need to clear, not very high. Not very high. I don't even know. Like, let me ask you this: do you think it's paramount that we find our OC of the future with the obviously we're not drafting a franchise quarterback at 2 overall. Let's say we're doing it in 2027. Do we have to have that OC here now? Or is it possible that we could have a bridge OC and then totally tear it down to the studs again next year?
Well, I think the worry is if you don't have your OC here, then that means the whole coaching staff gets fired next year because they're another unsuccessful year. So I'd rather have Tanner Engstrand be my offensive coordinator here now going forward because that just shows that the team's getting better and better. So it shows that we trust the guy. He's getting better with his players. He's actually developing the young offensive players. And let's say we do get a Kirk Cousins as a bridge quarterback and the team does win 7 to 8 games with him. And you take like a Julian Sayans next year as your quarterback, if you have the ability to. I would trust Tanner Engstrand with him because it shows that he's able to get these players to do their jobs and to adapt an offense and to build an offense that has these guys successful. So to answer the question, I wouldn't want a bridge OC because that just shows that the coaching staff we have now is incompetent, not here for the long term. And then we have to go through this whole new coaching staff thing and worrying about, who's going to be the OC, who's going to be the head coach, this whole new staff and player turnover too.
Yeah, I mean, right now, do we have a bridge head coach and GM? Because I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. I know it's a really rough spot to be in because you don't know if the head coach is any good. Like we don't have a lot to take away from last year to tell us that he is. But so if let's say you bring in, a Kyler Murray and you stumble into 6 or 7 wins, and then it's like, well, we showed progress, so I guess we keep Aaron Glenn around for another year. But then it's just like, yeah, that's your ceiling. Like you're only winning 6 or 7 games for multiple years, and then it's like you're in this purgatory. And I don't know. It's a rough place to be in. And then it's like you want a rookie guy, you want a guy to call your franchise quarterback, but can you trust the staff to develop him properly? So it's like you don't want to waste the pick if you don't trust the staff, but at the same time, the staff is going to get a chance until they get their guy, right? So it's just like, what do we do? So we just have to, I guess, have faith that Aaron Glenn's going to figure this shit out. And this move that he made tonight is one that can give you a little bit of hope that he's trying to right the ship.
Yeah, and I'm really rooting for Aaron Glenn to get this right. And imagine the Jets are one of the only teams that kept a losing coach this year. When you have McDermott out there, Harbaugh out there, Tomlin out there, all of these big name coaches, and yet the Jets are in a place where they're not looking for a head coach when maybe they should have been. I'm not sure, but I'm really hoping for him to turn it around. I really want him to be successful here. But again, he needs to start. He needs to show us something, and maybe this is the first step in that.
What do you think the odds are that this news really did just happen?
I think it's unlikely. It's our beat has been so out of it. It's been kept under wraps for so long. These guys might have been fired weeks ago, and we're just hearing about it now because that's when Glenn wanted it out. And hell, you guys even mentioned it. This is a guy who writes for Houston that broke it down. Our beat didn't even get to it. Didn't even know about it. So good job, Rich Tabini. So you're seeing these guys, you're seeing how close they're keeping it to the chest, which I really like. But this probably happened like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I don't think it just happened like that.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree.
You think?
Really? I don't think that it just happened, but like a day or two ago, it probably happened. A week or two ago, no way. These dudes are looking for jobs. They got fired. They're already looking for jobs. There are 10 coach openings in the league, head coach. They got to build their staffs. They're gonna interview these guys. They're gonna talk to these guys like, hey, you'd be interested in like a quality control position or whatever. And their agents are talking to these agents. That news spreads quickly. And I'm not saying that Rich Cimini and them are competent by any means, but my argument is more of like along the lines that like the coaches that got fired, if they got fired a week and a half ago or something like that, their agents are already calling around trying to find new jobs and stuff. That word would have already gotten out by now, is where I'm getting at.
A week might be a stretch, but I don't think it was like as fresh as a lot of people think. I don't know. I think the Jets are doing a great job keeping everything under wraps. They don't want news to break or rumors to break, whether it's the DC search or these coaching firings. We knew changes were coming, but we're just, when we hear about them now, it could have happened a couple days ago or even a little bit longer. So I'm just happy it's happening. I think we can all agree that it's happening. That's a good thing, that the changes are finally being made.
Yeah. Hey, I'll meet you in the middle here, and I'll say that I do think that Muji and Glenn have their dogs on a leash, so to say, a little bit compared to maybe previous staffs. But I don't, like I said, I don't think it was like a week or two ago. But yeah. So, Dane, you have another slide for us? You have another talking point? Me and Ryan will cook on one subject all night. So if you
I got you guys. Whatever you
let's
need.
go.
Murph and I got this.
We can go back and forth all night.
I bet. I have something from Tony Pauline, and whatever you think of that guy, he has tried to pull some news and nuggets before. They weren't always great. Sometimes they were, though. He had something break today. Actually, it was yesterday. He said, and I quote, "He has been told the Jets have let it be known they'd like to bring back Tyrod Taylor next year in a similar role to the one he manned this year. Taylor started 4 games in the middle of the season, playing reasonably well before being sidelined with injury in December. He orchestrated one of the Jets' 3 victories, beating the Falcons, and he kept his team in the game earlier in the year against Tampa Bay, a game the Jets lost on the final drive. Let's assume for a second this is accurate intel. What do you think? Is that a wise decision to make? Should they bring back Tyrod Taylor? what say you guys on that nugget? And again, I'm not saying it's true, but honestly, it passes a sniff test for me.
I could definitely see it. I would be happy with Tyrod back. Solid veteran. He's gonna help a young kid come in here. He's gonna be willing to teach them and gonna give guidance when he needs to. He knows the offense, and the injuries are a concern still, yeah, but we're not looking at him to be the future. We're just looking at him to stay here. If he needs to start, we can have him start. But bringing him in as a backup quarterback, in my opinion, a bridge option possibly, I could see it. I would actually like it.
I don't know if I love him as a bridge option. As a backup quarterback, I think it's very possible, actually. They already know the guy, maybe they even trust the guy, but I don't trust the guy. And I was a big Tyrod guy. I did like Tyrod, but what I saw this year out of him was not very inspiring, I know he's getting to that age. I don't want to say he's cooked or anything like that, but it is possible that he's losing a little bit because one of the things he's stamping on his resume is I can throw a deep ball, right? Everybody said, "Oh man, Tyrod's got such a pretty deep ball." He's right on the money with that thing. Well, this season, how many overthrown deep balls did we see out of Tyrod? I mean, how many missed marks did he throw? Like that was not normal Tyrod, and I just wonder if he's kind of starting to lose it a little bit. And I hope, for his case, I think Tyrod's a good dude. For his case, I hope that's not the case, but I don't know that I trust him as a bridge option. I mean, maybe a backup, I guess. I'm not even crazy about that, but I can definitely see the Jets wanting that. And it also depends. It depends on what their plan is. If they plan on drafting a quarterback, they're probably going to bring somebody in, not Tyrod, but somebody else in, like maybe a little higher dollar guy or something, or I don't know, maybe a Malik Willis, Kyler or Kirk Cousins, whatever. They're going to bring somebody in like that, to compete with the Rook, and the rookie will be the backup. Usually that's how that works in the league. If it were up to me, you would have like a Kyler, or maybe not Kyler. I don't think he's going to be the best teacher. Like a Kirk Cousins, Tyrod Taylor, and then third string is your rookie, and he is sitting no matter what. He's not touching that field this year, but I don't run the team, which is why they're 3-14. So
I completely agree with that concept too. Like getting a Kirk Cousins in here who would run the system perfectly, Tyrod as the backup, and then getting like a Carson Beck or a Drew Allar or even a Nussmeier in as your third string, somebody who has that talent that can become something, but definitely sitting for a year. Even a Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, I think that guy's a very underrated player too. So it's just somebody like that to learn who has the caliber to start and everything, but having two solid vet options ahead of you to learn from, that would be, I think, the way I would go if I were the Jets. So I completely agree with that one, Murph.
Yeah. Billy SBC says Minshew, 47 starts, 68 touchdowns, and 35 interceptions. Ryan, is that somebody that you would maybe have your eye on as a bridge option or maybe even a backup?
Not after that injury now that he had. Absolutely not. I like Gardner. I do. But I don't think the Jets are going to bring him in. The injury he had was nasty too. And I think they're going to go. I wouldn't be shocked if they go with more like a Kirk if he gets cut, or a Kyler if he gets cut, or even like a Marcus Mariota, somebody like that who the injury with Gardner Minshew was pretty bad. So I think they're going to stay away from him.
Yeah. And I actually forgot about the injury when I asked that. I'm glad that you brought that up. What was it? A knee? Was it a knee that he?
Yeah, he seriously messed up his knee, I believe. And
I remember that happening. He came in and just like right off the bat, right after Mahomes blew his knee out, and then that's
I think it was like the next game or something that happened.
Yeah.
Well, just back to the Tyrod thing. Sorry, the dogs were going a little crazy, but I did want to sound off on that. And if you're one of the 34 here watching now live, we appreciate you, man.
Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe.
Boom. And then also after that, go right down to the description. Check out Ryan over at the JetsWard. He is growing like a tumbleweed or like, I don't know, something that grows fast. So you want to be able to check him out before you get left in the dust like a tumbleweed. Look at that. Hey,
Yeah, that's where you
tomorrow's,
meant to put tumbleweed.
tomorrow's my actually 1 year anniversary on YouTube. It's crazy.
bro, dude.
Ryan's YouTube page is like a chia pet.
Yeah, there you go.
Just
There
give
you
it a few
go.
likes instead of water. A few likes and stuff here and there, and it just.
I never would have thought that it would have popped up that much. I'm just having fun and enjoying it and getting to meet cool people like you guys. It's always a blast doing stuff like this.
You fit our vibe here on Fridays, man, for sure. Let me chime in on the Tyrod thing, though. What I would say is I've been a strong proponent of getting two bridge quarterbacks, double insurance, blah, blah, blah. Now, though, like the more and more I think about it, how are you talking two bridge quarterbacks, two into coming here, where, quarterback position goes to die? Yeah, I said it. Quit. It's okay. You get Tyrod, who's already here now. You talk him into staying. That's one half of the job. Then you can go and get someone else like a Mariota, a Russ or somebody. But to try to talk two of those guys into coming here, one destination, especially like some will want to start, some won't, to try to find that perfect blend, difficult. But if you already have the QB2, then you can go and hit the market and say, hey, whoever wants to sign here, you are the starter. I think that's huge because that's something that some of these guys, it'll sway if you can promise them week one starter potential. So I do like that. Bring Tyrod back. What, 5-6 million, maybe 4 million, 8 million. I don't even care, man. Something like that. And then you can maybe go, hey, Mariota, you want to start? You want to, whatever. It just makes recruitment so much easier if it's not two bridge quarterbacks that you need. It's only one. Does that make sense?
Hey, yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. The only thing I got, I'll bite back a little bit on, and Dane, always got a little something to say. The convincing two bridge quarterbacks to come here, these guys, if they're confident in themselves, they're going to want to go where they potentially have a shot to start. And where else better to go than the New York Jets? You're going to get a chance to start somewhere, so at some point. So that's my only bite back. I don't think it's that hard to convince two bridges to come here because they're going to think that they'll have a chance.
Fair. I like the discourse there, Murph. But yeah, things are you know what? Non-jet related. I just wanted to take a moment to remind everyone that tonight is apparently something cool to see in the sky. So make sure you take your phone and you stay plugged into the Danger Zone. Yeah, that's a bar. And check it out. Let us know if it's as cool as advertised, because then maybe I'll say, hey, Murph, take over for a minute. I want to go see this thing. But hey, if it really looks like a smiley face, let us know. Yeah, you're getting all kind of content tonight, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, all of us are getting, I don't know about you over there in Oregon, Dane, where you're steady 55, 60 degrees every damn day, but we're about to get bent over by a snowstorm over here on the eastern side of the United States. So that's going to be fun.
2 feet of snow coming our way.
But playoffs, both games, both games they're a little more west, so won't affect those. But we'll get into that later because we have a whole segment for that.
Damn straight. Ryan, we've talked coaches. You know what? I do want to get your thoughts. Maybe like one or two guys in free agency you would try to target immediately once the tampering window opens up. But before we jump there, I had something else that I also want Murph's thoughts on. Let me put it up here. All right. These are the NFL's finalists for Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Do you guys agree that these ought to be the 5 people in contention for each award? Is there maybe somebody you think was left out? Is there somebody you think clearly needs to win? I want to know from each of you guys what you think about these finalists.
Offensively, I don't have a problem. They're never going to put an offensive lineman. So Armand Membu, no matter how great he was, it should be up there. He's not because he doesn't play a highly skilled position. But I love that they put Tyler Shuck up there with what he did with the Saints after coming in. Defensive rookies, how the hell do you have Abdul Carter up there? He did nothing this year. He was awful. So that's a shocking one. Xavier Watts is fun. I think Nick Emenwari deserves it with what he did with the Seattle Seahawks. I think he was a beast. Him and Schweissinger should be the top go-getters for that one. But for offensive, I'm happy with any of those guys. I would love Armand Membu up there just because he's our guy and was dominant this year. But the offensive, I think, is fine.
I think that there's not very much competition on the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think Tet's got it, and just nail it down right now. That's all his because Emeka Egbuka started off well, and then he
fell off.
He fell off. I don't know what happened there. I'm guessing Godwin came back, and maybe they were giving the snaps to him, even though he doesn't look like his former self. I don't know what was going on.
Godwin came back, Evans came back, and Baker got hurt and was struggling for a while.
Yeah. And Baker, as we know, if Baker's banged up, dude, he does not look like himself out there. He's done this many times now. Trevion Henderson started popping off towards the end of the year, but it's not a big sample size. Tyler Shuck, I get it, but not a big sample size. I'd like to see that and 10 plus games, not 4 or 5. It's all Tet, man. I will say on the offensive side, if Tyler Warren didn't get injured, he would probably be running away with this because he was having an incredible season before that started. So shout out to Tyler Warren. He's going to be a stud for the Colts for a long time. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't even know who Carson Schwessinger is.
Oh, he was a beast for that Cleveland Browns linebacking crew. The guy came in, he was like a second or third round pick and came in and dominated as a linebacker.
That's
a monster.
Pick 33 overall.
Yeah, okay. Second round pick came in and dominated.
Somehow he slipped through my cracks. So good for him. James Pierce Jr. had a decent year. Xavier Watts and Nick Emenwari, if they weren't on here, I'd have been pretty pissed because I think both of those guys showed out. 2 guys that I was high on last year going into the drafts, but of course, we just ignore safety and wait till the 5th round and draft fucking Malachi Moore. Abdul Carter, he was not what he should have been, but he did show some flashes. Maybe it doesn't pop off on the stat sheet, but he was disruptive at times, especially toward getting towards the end of the year. But it was disappointing. He should have been better than that. And since I brought up Malachi Moore, I'm just going to go on a little rant. Guys, Malachi Moore, we're not going to crown him a starting safety next year. He does not need to be a starting safety next year. The dude was booty cheeks. You say he tackles well, he missed a bunch of fucking tackles too. Like, he is not very good, okay? I keep hearing, I listen to I've been more plugged in lately on Jets content than I have been in the past several months. And I'm hearing like, oh, well, you got this piece in Malachi Moore, and all you got to do is get another safety. Well, no, we need 2 more safeties. Two. Malachi Moore can sub in whenever a guy is out of breath, needs to hit the oxygen machine, or if he's dinged up. But Malachi Moore is, oh my God, it was rough watching him. And Tony Adams is even worse. So he's a rookie. I get it. Is he going to develop into a good player? Maybe, but I am not crowning him. I'm not giving him a starting position based on what I saw his rookie year.
Hey, 53 solo tackles, not bad.
He probably had 23 missed tackles.
I think for what he did for this defense, because the whole defense was a mess. he was actually one of the brighter spots on that Jets defense. But I agree. I do like him a lot, but more as a support role. It's a backup role. What I would do is I would sign him for a safety and draft one in like the second round, one of the top safeties in the draft, and have more as that third safety for you to come in if needed. The one I'm really concerned about is AZ Thomas with the injuries. I loved his play when he was in, but the injuries are a concern. So I think if there's any way to get like a D'Angelo Pons somewhere trading up into the third or something like that, if he doesn't go early, I think that's an Aaron Glenn type of guy from Indiana. So Malachi Moore, I understand he did miss a ton of tackles, but he was one of the brighter spots on this defense too, and which isn't saying much.
Yeah. You're muted, Murph.
11 missed tackles. I obviously was exaggerating when I said 23, but that's,
not good.
11.
Still not good.
And he didn't start all year either. So.
It's like for me, it's like the Will McDonald debate. Like, love both guys. I think they're both not the worst people we have on defense. I think they would be a lot better if we replaced them in the starting lineup and had them come in situationally, like Murph said, with more. I think the same with Will McDonald, man. We could talk for a half hour on Will McDonald and Jermaine. I think we will at some point. I don't give the 5th-year option for Will McDonald. I let them play him and Jermaine both the contract year this year. And why don't we see what both you guys can do at once, and then we'll go from there. But again, if we draft an edge 2nd overall, which very possible, we could draft a safety top 5 for all we know. Regardless, what I'm trying to say is bumping them guys down the depth chart is only going to make us a better team. I don't think either guy is too bad to play, but I do think they're better rotationally than they are permanent bona fide starters. So I'm with you, Murph. Busting your balls on the Malachi Moore front, but I'm with you.
I gotta okay. Who do you guys think was the best safety in football last year? Not on the Jets, just in general. And there's no wrong answers. I'm just going to tell you who I think it was, and I'm going to.
It was the guy from Chicago.
Derwin, or okay,
Byard.
Yeah,
Byard.
Kevin Byard.
Yeah, and how did they get Kevin Byard?
Free agency. He got cut from a couple teams and everything.
Once again, another stud safety that the Jets were just like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Justin Simmons, Kevin Byard, I'm just over it, man. And we go all year without having one single interception. But no, we're good on stud safeties. We can get these fucking nobodies out here and see if they can do something while they miss 12 fucking tackles in 11 games or whatever. Yeah, I'm over it, dude. We gotta give me a Kyle Hamilton. Like, give me a stud safety. Because the last time the Jets defense, there was a year or two was solid. It was fun to watch, but the last time I remember the Jets defense, like, I was excited to watch them was when Jamal Adams and Marcus May were back there, man. Because you never knew. Like, Jamal Adams lay a hit stick on somebody, force a fumble, or rip the ball out of Daniel Jones' hand and return it for a touchdown. Marcus May's back there playing deep middle, picking balls off and pinning it to himself as he's falling and stuff. Like, come on.
Afram chimes in. He says,
Byard,
hey, he can. Afram chimes in. He says, Murph is on fire. Yeah, don't pump his head full, Afram. Come on, man. We don't need that. Let me ask you, Murph. Well, both you guys, really. If we do need multiple safeties, how many are in the draft? How many are in free agency? Because, like Clancy said it, we have hella cap space. We have like $100 million. In my eyes, though, that's not a lot because of how many guys I think we need to bring in. I think that evaporates rather quickly. But hey, what do I know? All I know, we trade down from 2 and we have 20 draft picks. Who the hell knows? But talk to me. 1 safety free agency, 1 in the class, 2 in the class, 2 in free. Where are you at there?
I I would go with Reed Blankenship in free agency from the Eagles. I know a lot of people are on the Cam Curl thing. I know I like Cam Curl too, but I don't think he's going to want to come to the Jets. I think Reed Blankenship, he's only 26. He's solid tackler, great in coverage, can come right in, start. He was a captain of that Eagles defense. You sign him, you bring him in on a 3-year deal, and then get like a Dylan Thieneman at pick 44 from Oregon, who's one of my favorite safeties in the draft. And then you have your 2 starters. You have Malachi Moore as a backup. You sign like a Jamal Adams to a 1-year deal to be a linebacker / safety option for you to help you out. I would like him more as a linebacker. I think he played pretty well for the Raiders at linebacker this year. But I think doing that, and there's another cornerback / safety option that's going to be hitting free agency too. Melifonwu, who was a former Lion, went to the Dolphins. He's going to be somebody who played in Aaron Glenn's system too, so who can play both corner and safety. So I think bringing him in on a 1-year deal, prove it deal, still young, bringing in as many options as you can. But for the main guys, Reed Blankenship and Dylan Thieneman, I think would be 2 of my top guys. 1 free agent, 1 draft.
Murph, what say you?
You nailed the 2 guys I was thinking of. Blankenship, yeah, I think he's been quality safety over there in Philly. So since you took my initial thought, my first thought guy, I'll throw another name out here. How about a Kyle Duggar? I think that I just double checked myself here on Spot Track, and it looks like that he's going to be freed up. So maybe a Kyle Duggar. He was excellent for New England for that little while, and then he was recently with Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh might bring him back.
I also like Nick Cross as well. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, fella?
So, okay. All right. What I wanted to do, sorry, I should have did this already, was I wanted to bring up the list of free agent safeties. Now, they are sorted by what they made last year, so you can't always take that into account if they're coming off a rookie deal or something. But here are some options. If you don't, yeah, hey, there's Duggar for you, Murph. There's others, though. Like, I mean, look, Tony Adams is there.
Cameron Curl's another name to watch too. I mean, you saw he made a big play in the playoffs there last game. So yeah, Kyle Duggar, Cameron Curl. I like Nick Cross from the Colts. He's going to be a little further down. He wasn't making that much. Those are, and then Blankenship. Those are probably the 4 names that I got my eye on the most. As far as the draft, I mean, dude, I'm a big Caleb Downs guy, but I don't know if I see a world where we can get him because we'd be insane to take him at 2, but I don't think he's making it to 16. So, aside from that, the dude from Oregon that you mentioned, excuse me, Thieneman, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, he's apparently pretty good. I haven't watched a lot of tape on him or anything, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I'm just going off of opinions around the league and stuff. From what I've heard, it sounds like he's pretty good. There's another guy, I heard his name today, and I can't. He's got a really weird name. It was basic is EMW, because I remember it sounded like BMW, but his initials was EMW. I can't remember what his name is. Apparently he's pretty good too, but I'd have to look it up. But yeah, so I don't know. That's where I'm at, man.
I do want to say one thing because I was reading the chat, and I want to say thank you to Matthew Smith 9086. Called me out for saying that Byard was cut multiple times. I actually looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I was right, that he was cut. And Matthew's right. He was only cut once by the Eagles in 2024. He was traded by the Titans. So, okay, he wasn't cut, but he has bounced around the league and then was finally cut. And then he's been around the league for a while now. So I want to thank him for keeping me accountable. This isn't no Jeff Ulbrich era, like he said in there. So I appreciate that. My apologies.
I appreciate you taking that trollish comment from Matthew and saying, you know what, I'll give him some flowers because not many other folks around here want to give Matthew Smith flowers. It probably has something to do with him saying we need to trade 5 ones for Cam Ward.
Well,
But
never mind. Screw that guy.
Matthew is he's a shenanigan. We love those.
Nah, but he was right on that one. He was he did keep me accountable on that one, so I'll give him that one.
Not the next one. Not the next one. You better not give it to him. Murph, Boss Girl chimes in with the name you were searching your brain for.
That's it. That's it. Look at Boss Girl. She knows her shit, dude.
She is aptly named, man.
I could not remember that name to save my life, and I just heard it today, and I kind of looked up his profile, but all I could remember was EMW because it sounded like BMW. That's how my brain works.
Agreed. Okay, that covers hopefully the safety position. If I'm glossing over some Jets news, please pitch something yourself if you have something. I do want to ask you because Murph and I got into this last week where we interviewed 8 defensive coordinators. Okay, whoop-de-doo. And I wanted to ask you, Ryan, if you thought any of them we were worth maybe getting a second interview out of. I think these were all virtual ones, but what do you think of this very inspiring list of names we have here?
So when looking at these names, it's not really the most exciting, but Jim Leonard's my number one. I really do like Jim Leonard. I think he'll bring a new, fresh style. Guy's been around the league. He's played in the NFL before and has been successful. Very highly coveted coach out there as well. I think he's going to get a lot of options as a DC in this coming off season. Wink Martindale, we all know Wink. A lot of people say that his style of defense is very old school, wouldn't mix right now. I don't know. I think he'd bring accountability to these guys and basically create a new style. And I think as well that it would change the defensive philosophy because the 4-3 that we're running or the 4-2, whatever, I don't think it's working. He runs more of a 3 front or an amoeba type of defense where you don't know who's coming in and just blitzes the hell out of people. So I think that style of defense might work for this defense. And I know he would be all in control totally of the defense and let Aaron Glenn stay as that CEO type. But the one name that's really interesting to me is Banda from Cleveland. Just to see what that Cleveland defense has done over the years and how successful they have been, I think he'd be a sneaky good option. And Covington as well, the defensive line coach from Green Bay. I think he could be a fun one. And what was one of our biggest weaknesses? Defensive line this year. So he can come in and be very successful with this team. So if I was going with this, it would be Leonard, then Banda, Wink, Covington, and then Durante Jones because he's another version of a Brian Flores. He's like his right-hand man. And I would really consider changing to a 3-4. I think that would be much better. And if we keep Sherwood, having an Anzalone play right next to him and then a Leo Chenal and an Arvell Reese as your outside linebackers could be solid. And then put Caden McDonald up the middle. I think would be perfect.
McDonald and Reese. Murph, I got to ask you, Mr. Buckeye, thoughts on that alignment?
I mean that would be fine. I'm not as crazy about McDonald. I don't hate the prospect. I just don't know if I like it at 16. But back to the defensive coordinator thing. Leonard obviously is the guy everybody's got their eyes on. Out of this group, it's kind of an uninspiring group, to be honest. But Leonard is a guy that outside of Jet circles, because I know sometimes we just hear the Jet beat reporters and stuff like that. But if you look outside of Jet circles, Jim Leonard is a highly coveted up and coming coach. People think that he's going to be one of those dudes that just rises through the ranks because he knows what he's doing. Like he's a good leader. He's innovative. He does all the right things. So obviously that's a guy that you got your eyes on. Wink is a dude that did it forever. I'm not crazy about the idea of that hire. I don't think him and Glenn would get along well. If we did hire him, though, I would. Okay, like I wouldn't be upset about it, but I wouldn't be crazy about it either. But I think that's probably where they're most likely going. The Banda, I'm not super familiar with him, other than the fact that he's just a defensive line coach for the Browns. Which does that mean he's good or not? I don't know, because Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett. So I don't know. Does he have any does he have his fingers on the success over there? I have no idea. I kind of doubt it, because Myles Garrett came into the league looking like a Greek god, so that's just how he is. But one name, and I do like I like Durante Jones a little bit, because I do like Flores, and I think that if he learned anything from him, that he'd be worth looking into. But you mentioned DeMarcus Covington, right? And I think people were like not really speaking much about this, but the dude has a lot of experience. Like he was with New England for, like, I don't know, almost a decade, under Belichick and even after. And then while Mayo was their head coach, he was the DC there. So he's got a year of experience, and he had a potential to learn from his mistakes that he may have made during that time. So that's an intriguing prospect too. What worries me, you see that guy on the bottom right? You see what polo he's got going on over there? Yeah, that worries me. Because if Leonard is gone, or he decides to go join Jim Harbaugh or somebody else's staff, whatever, I'm afraid that old Aaron Glenn might hire his buddy from Detroit.
You might be onto something there, Murph. What I will say is, whoever compiled these headshots probably needs fired, because some of them are just terrible, man. Covington, we said it last week. Murph, or maybe it was with Chaos. Looks like he just killed a guy. Wink Martindale maybe that's always his face. I don't know, but that's a rough one. Jim McNeil looks like, he's trying to sell you insurance on your doorstep. But hey, I don't know. We'll see, man. What I do like to think, and maybe it's spin zone, is the longer we wait and let this play out, and the longer Jim Leonard isn't hired elsewhere, maybe we're the only chair left when the music stops for Jim Leonard, assuming he doesn't want to stay the defensive pass coordinator or whatever in Denver. Maybe it pushes him here. Durante Jones is another one that, I think Matt O'Leary came out with a video today that said, or maybe it was DKB actually, Jim Leonard and Durante Jones are like the two strongest for us right now. Honestly, they would probably be my top two on this list. So if that's the case, I'm cool with that. But does anybody know anything? No. What I do know is other defensive coordinator positions are being filled every freaking day, and ours is not. And Jim Leonard's still available. Durante Jones is still available. Maybe maybe our patience finally plays to our benefit. Even if we were too patient with firing some guys, maybe it helps with hiring them. We'll see.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is waiting, because I think a lot of teams right now are waiting till after Sunday with how the Broncos do. Because if they lose, then teams are going to bring Leonard in. Watch out for the Giants. Watch out for the Ravens, too. They just hired Jesse Minter as their head coach. I think he'd be somebody who would target him. It's going to be very interesting, because I think it's going to take a little bit longer for Leonard, because he's going to have all of these interviews. Who knows? Robert Saleh might try to go after him with the Titans too. You never know. So Durante Jones would be a great one. My biggest worry is that Chris Harris stays as our defensive coordinator. I would hate that. That would just be basically just getting comfortable with that and knowing that not a lot of people want to come here.
There's, first of all, I'm going to touch on that, and then I'm moving on to something else real quick. No chance in hell Woody lets Glenn do that.
You never know. We never
no
know.
chance. Woody is going to say, the fuck? What do you? No, hell no. You see that last December, our defense? Like, come on. Anyway, shit, what else was I going to say? Yeah, okay, Jim Leonard. Shout out to the Cowboys for hiring Christian Parker instead of Jim Leonard. Because that just gave us one less defensive coordinator, open spot there. So that was good news. And what did Boss Girl say?
Vance Joseph.
I don't think Vance has a chance. You like that? Bars. Vance don't have a chance to get another head coach job. Come on.
He's the lead candidate right now for the Cardinals.
No way.
Yep.
Really?
And the Cardinals fans are pissed. That's why there's a lot of rumors that, or not fans, Cardinals fans. There's a lot of rumors going around with him in the Cardinals. It's not a desirable job. So there's a lot of rumors about him going there as their head coach and Jim Leonard stepping up as the DC for the Broncos.
The logic tracks. If that's the case, the logic does track. We'll see, man. I think that we must know something because, I don't know. This list doesn't inspire me at all because I think our job is going to be rather difficult. We don't even know probably 7 of the 11 defensive starters next year. It's a tough job and we need a good qualified candidate or a rising star. So, God, please give us one of those two. Murph, you said you were going to go in another direction. Do you have something?
Lost it. I think it was the Vance stuff. That's where I had. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Let me ask you guys, because we did kind of bury the lead with this episode. One thing I did throw on the old, let's see if I can get it here. Get all this other stuff off the screen. Boom. Okay, we talked safety, free agency. I do want to get Ryan's thoughts and yours, Murph, on bridge quarterback options. Yeah, I know it's early, man. Everybody's doing free agency primers and shit. We don't even have a defensive coordinator. We don't know what system he's going to run. We don't have anything, man. Everybody wants to get the content before it's dried up and old and stale. But we try not to do that too much around here, man, because again, it's all speculatory. But one thing we can do, I think, even if Angstrand is demoted, is kind of pick through the weeds of bridge quarterback options, because I do think most of them won't really matter when it comes to what system is being ran. A lot of connectivity has been made this week and last week. Kyler Murray to the Jets and how he could be our best option. Also, that Arizona's probably out on him. Hell, Arizona might have another coach in the next week. We don't know. Is he? Well, because I recoiled at this thought a month ago, and now it's like, oh man, suddenly he's not looking so bad. I want you guys' thoughts. Is it someone we should pursue? Is it a top choice we should go after? And where do you guys sit when it comes to, should the Cardinals cut Kyler Murray? What would we do then? I don't think anybody here is suggesting that we should trade for him, so let's keep that off the table. But purely signing him, talk to me.
If we could sign him, yeah, I think he'd be a top option. I think he provides a lot of upside, as he's only 28. I understand the injuries, but they're not injuries like Tua has with the concussions. I think the fit with the system is going to be a little interesting, but if we do change it a little bit to go towards what his strengths are. He's an accurate quarterback. He's solid with his legs. He's shown success in this league. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. And I think he's still got stuff left in the tank. As a bridge option, you can get a lot worse. I think he provides a ton of upside. And with them cutting him, I think he'd take a minimum deal as well, because the Cardinals would be owing him like $40+ million. So I think, honestly, the Kyler Murray is a very realistic option for the New York Jets. And I don't know. I don't think it's an awful idea. There are some that I prefer, but Murray, I don't think is that bad of an option.
It depends on what your goal is, whether you want Murray or not. I think if you're just looking at who gives me the most wins next year, it probably is Kyler Murray. If you're looking at drafting a quarterback, like if you know you're going to draft a quarterback, then I don't know if he's going to be the best mentor to a young quarterback, because he doesn't really play the quarterback position the way that it's supposed to be played. Kyler relies on his talent a lot, and he has a lot of talent. He's got a live arm. He's mobile, he kind of plays a lot of backyard ball, right? Does he really play within the system? I don't know. So I don't know if I'd want him as a mentor, if that's the way I'm going. But if I'm just trying to win as many games as I can next year, Kyler is probably your best bet. Yeah. So do I want to sign him? I don't know. I'm kind of give or take on it. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other.
Okay, what if I threw in Kirk Cousins? What if I threw in Geno Smith? Does that still keep Kyler at 1? Is he at 2 then for you? Like, because Geno is a real name that's being thrown around as well. Kirk Cousins, we all assume, but I mean, I don't know. How's Penix, his health? I don't know. But a lot of these guys will be fairly cheap. But again, there could also be 6-7 teams vying for 3 guys. Tua, Geno, Kirk, Kyler. Thoughts?
If you're having all of those options out there, like Kirk Cousins, Kyler, Geno, I think Kyler still gives you the most upside to win. Kirk is the best fit for the offense, in my opinion, and everything. And I think with a solid O-line, he'd be good here. But the problem is, would he even want to come here? He's already screwed us over once and used us for leverage. Is he going to want to come here? And I don't know right now if the Falcons even cut Kirk, because Stefanski worked with him already, and he might want him there to help with Penix. So I think Kyler might be the one you go with. But if those couple options were out there, I'd go with Kirk Cousins over those guys, because I think Kirk's just a better fit for this offense and just the bridge option, because I think the quarterback room next year, the quarterback group next year is just so much better, and we can get our guy then.
Can't say I disagree. You guys know I'm kind of on the Kirk train. I don't think that he's going to be phenomenal next year if we sign him or anything like that. But I think if Engstrand's trying to look for a quarterback that's going to run his offense the way it's supposed to be ran, it's going to be Kirk Cousins, right? Like he gets rid of the ball fast. Like he can read a defense. So I think Kirk is the best bet. And also, if you're looking at, drafting a guy, that's probably your best bet as a mentor as well. Yeah. So I don't know. There's risk to all of these guys. Geno seems to be falling back into obscurity over the last couple years. Kirk is getting older. He's had some injuries. Kyler hasn't necessarily been great, but he might be the best of the bunch. But then you got to worry about leadership concerns, maturity concerns, things like that with Kyler. I don't know. There's everybody's got cons to them, like negatives to signing them.
What someone said Stidham if he elevates the Broncos offense. I just wanted to look that up real quick and just double check. He is on a 2-year deal. 2-year 12 mil, and most of it's in 2026. 8 out of 12 is. Could you trade for him? Sure. But you could also then enter Mac Jones, enter Jameis Winston, and it's like suddenly Stidham, who's going to be 30, doesn't look as much of a prize as he would, because now you're talking about trading assets for him. And if I'm trading assets, give me Jameis for a 7th rather than McKee or, some of these other guys for a day 2 pick or a really good day 3 pick. So I was trying to stick with, cap casualties. And I think we did kind of limit it to that. But, again, Stidham would probably be the best quarterback we had on the roster this year. So you can't totally rule it out either. So yeah, 33 watching, folks. Appreciate you guys chilling with us. What questions do you have for Ryan and Murph and myself? Ryan, I don't know how long do we have you, brother?
However you need. I was just looking at the chat. Boss Girl brings up a fantastic point, and I was thinking it too. Davis Mills could be a trade option. He could be a fun one.
He could.
I don't know. I think it's going to be the similar conversation. Like if you try to trade for Mac Jones, I think it's going to be pricey, but he could be a very fun one and would fit perfectly in this offense, in my opinion.
That's actually my favorite option if we're willing to do a trade. I mean, obviously there's like Burrow. It's like reasonable option, like I don't know if Burrow's reasonable or any of those guys, but if you're looking at trading like Mac Jones, Tanner McKee, if we're looking into those options, it's got to be Davis Mills. Like,
oh yeah,
the guy has shown, that he can be a competent NFL quarterback. I mean, before Stroud got drafted there, like he was not bad by any means, So if you're looking for a perfect bridge, that would be it.
Agreed.
Mills would be great.
Super chat, $1.99, baby. Let's go, E-Boogie. I love it. He says, I can see it now. The tiny Jets, Kyler Murray and Pavia. What do you think of that under 6 foot lineup? Murph, go ahead and go first.
What's wrong with being under 6 foot? That's what I want to know. Hey, Maurice Jones-Drew was 5'7", Darren Sproles 5'7", maybe 5'6.5". I'm just saying, there's guys under 6 foot that perform well.
Facts.
No, but as a quarterback, usually you want to have at least a little bit of height because it's kind of tough to see over those big offensive linemen.
What do you think, Ryan?
Murray, I'm fine with. I wouldn't go after Pavia at all. I think he's going to measure in much less than what he says. It's 6 foot right now. I think he's much less than that. And I just don't like his character. He reminds me so much of like a Johnny Manziel type of player. And he's an older prospect too. So it's like, and when he went up against a good team like Iowa in their bowl game, he got smashed. He did rocked. So stay away from him.
I'm with you. You know what, E-Boogie? I missed this one earlier. Membership milestone chat. Appreciate you, man. Member for 2 months. He says, do you guys see the Jets trading for Max Crosby or people of the like? Do you think that's on the table? What would need to happen in order for us to be in the market of those types of players? Anything you want to say about this idea?
Jets Talk 24/7 brought up a good point the other day. The Packers might try to get out of Rashawn Gary's contract. or try to maneuver money around. That could be a fun one to watch. I would love Rashawn Gary in this defense as an edge rusher. I think Crosby would cost way too much. Other players, maybe going after a receiver, that could be a solid option. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. could be a fun one if they were interested in getting rid of him. But I'm not. I don't know if we're gonna be that big into the trade market.
I gotta say I agree. I don't think that we're going to be heavy in those big names like that. I think that Muji's going to look for value guys, and try to bring in like another Jawan Briggs like caliber player, right? I don't think that he's going to be looking. I saw some Raiders guys on Twitter earlier doing like fantasy trades in their head where we trade the number 2 pick and I think the number 16 pick and like a second rounder for Max Crosby.
44.
I'm like, get out of here. There's no way that's happening. Like, why would you trade that much draft capital for a 29-year-old edge coming off of an injury? Like, I don't know. No way.
What if there was a way to spin it to say we could be in the market for some of them kind of guys? I think you have to trade back from 2 and get a haul somehow, and that's very difficult to do. But like, if you could, and now you have a dozen picks in the top 200, and you fill out all these spots, then maybe. But like, I don't know, man. I think most of our money is going to be spent before we even hit the draft. And then do you want to waste the little that's left trying to squeeze 1 star on? I appreciate the question, E-Boogie. Don't get me wrong. I just think that we're not the team that's looking for that right now, unfortunately, because Max Crosby would be electric.
Yeah. Fine player. Fine. It's not a hate against Max Crosby. I don't think anybody's saying that. It's just like what you're trying to imply, Dane. Like, we are not in that position. You do stuff like that when like maybe you just made the playoffs or you won 9 games, something like that, and you're just like, I just need that next piece to kind of put me over the top. You know what I mean? That's when you make a move like that.
Like what the Rams did when they had no first round picks for many years because they just kept building, ended up winning it with Stafford.
Yeah, or the Packers just did with Micah Parsons, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we made the playoffs, like we're good, but we're just not quite there. We need that defense to take another step. Let's bring in one of the best defensive players in the league. And that's what they did, but it just didn't work out.
I think the Jets might pull like what the Patriots did last year, where they just spent tons and tons of money on the defensive side of the ball. I wouldn't be shocked if we bring in Alex Anzalone, Leo Chanel, Reed Blankenship, JFM, all of these defensive players just to stack up this defense and then build through offense in the draft with some of their players or continue to build in defense because we have the money to do it.
And I do think that 2027 is at least partially earmarked for offense. So, you know what? I would be cool with hitting, exclusive defense this year. Assuming you can get maybe like an Isaiah Likely to help the passing game. And then assuming that next year you have 3 firsts, hopefully all in the top 20. Go get me Arch Manning and you get me Jeremiah Smith. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm very cool. I am ecstatic. Okay. Oh, yeah. But we got to see how this plays out. The board, of course, as well. But if you go exclusively defense, and I'm not saying you suggested that, but like primarily defense this year, you got to have a strong offensive free agent class coming in. You got to have a couple guys, especially if you let Brees go, you need another guy. But yeah, and Boss Girl says that she's like, don't give up on this Sadiq dream. I'm not. I just think that if you sign a Isaiah Likely, who I do think Baltimore lets walk, I think it allows you not to be telegraphed, that we need a pass catcher for sure. And then, then we can see what we got cooking. Honestly, I wish we weren't picking 2 and 16. I wish we were picking like 7 and 10. Like, because I do think if you could get 2 top 10 picks, I think it would be more impactful than picking someone at 2 that probably is tied with the next 5 guys to go second overall, and then getting someone at 16 that, the well is already dry on the premium talents. So it's going to be interesting to see again. I'm a trade back guy, but this year, I don't know, man. I might put 44 with 16 and try to get up to the Saints. That makes a lot of sense to me. And not because I don't want 4 top 50 picks, but it's just because I think there's 10 to 12 blue chippers in this draft, and we're only going to get one. And it's not going to be the one that everybody wants if they were picking second either. It's going to be, anyone in the top 5 would have wanted. So, yeah, it sucks. But
there is a way the Jets could come away with Arvell Reese and Peter Woods in the first round at pick 16. For some reason, he keeps falling, and I don't know why. Or like a Arvell Reese and a Keldrick Falk. That could be great. And then getting Elijah Surratt at 33, getting your number 2 receiver. Those are 3 star caliber players right there for you. So I don't think if I were the Jets, I would be happy with pick 2. But then, if anything, if I could trade back from pick 16 to pick 20 or 21, acquire a 3rd round pick or some more picks, get Caden McDonald or whoever falls to me, and then get Elijah Surratt and Dylan Thieneman, and then in 3rd round get your quarterback like Ala or Nussmeier, Carson Beck, or if you want to stay on the defensive side, D'Angelo Pons if he's there. Like, that's starting guys right there for you. This defense would be completely changed, especially when you get Jarvis Brownlee Jr. back next year, when you get AZ Thomas back, Brandon Stevens, if he keeps going up, keeps playing as well as he did, you're going to have a solid defense. And you revamp your linebacker core in free agency with Leo Chenal, Anzalone, and get Breed Blankenship. That's a completely new defense that you just built up. And you could be working with something there. And the offense already has some weapons. Isaiah Likely is, if you sign him, Garrett Wilson's back, Mason Taylor's back, A.D. Mitchell as a wide receiver 3, and then you have Elijah Surratt as wide receiver 2, and you bring Brees back. That's a competent offense right there. That could work.
I'm with you. What do you think the likelihood is that Surratt goes on day 1?
I like Surratt a lot. I think it's very unlikely he'll go in the first round because I think you're gonna see your Carnell Tate, you're gonna see Tyson, Denzel Boston, Mekhi Lemon. I think Chris Brazzell from Tennessee goes in the first round because of his size and how dominant he was. Not my biggest fan of a receiver, Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I know a lot of people love what he's been bringing to the games. Elijah Surratt is somebody I think deserves to go in the first round, but I think will be an early 2nd round pick. And like you got Lane as well, who is a big bodied receiver who a lot of people are going to like, but I see him more. Elijah Surratt out of these guys is probably my 5th, 6th favorite receiver in the draft.
Hey, and there's a lot of other positions that do have 1st round grades. I get it. I just, dude, I would sign up for it today if he's picked 33. I will. I don't think he gets to 44. And I just wonder if someone else falls in love with him as well. If he was 6'5", he probably would not. He would not sniff the 2nd round, but he's not. He's like 6'2". And like you said, there's other guys that have the measurables, they have the acumen. Yeah, dude, Surratt, number 33. Then you can still give me Jeremiah Smith next year. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I like that.
Jeremiah Smith, you have Garrett Wilson, Jeremiah Smith in the out there as well. Put Garrett Wilson in the slot and Elijah Surratt on the outside. That offense could be electric.
Murph, how much Indiana did you watch? Do you know who Surratt is? Do you think he can possibly work his way onto day 2 where we have the number 1 pick?
If it's me, like if I'm drafting every team, Surratt doesn't make it to day 2, because I think Surratt is actually better than some of these guys that we consider round 1 guys like Boston and I don't know if he's better than Tyson. I just worry about Tyson's injury history.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Tyson, I have as like my 4th receiver. I actually like Boston a lot more than Tyson just because I think he's more sure-handed. But Tyson's injuries, man, they're scary. They're pretty bad.
I think a receiver gets drafted a lot. Like if they get drafted high, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 5 of them go, and Surratt's one of them. So yeah, I kind of doubt that he makes it into the second round. He's legit though. He's a stud. I think, and I wanted to mention this earlier, and guys and gals in the chat are talking about how many blue chippers and stuff there are. Not a lot. This is not a super deep draft. This is not a super talent rich draft. I mean, maybe it's deep, but the talent, like as far as like blue chippers, like studs and stuff, like dude, you get down to like the 10th pick and beyond, like it starts getting slim pickings, unless you get lucky and a guy falls to you. But 16, not optimal. If they want to end up getting like a Sonny Styles, a Caleb Downs, even a Peter Woods, I mean, you may have to trade up to like 10 or 11, to get one of those guys. Otherwise, you might get stuck with like a Keldrick Falk, and I'm not really crazy about him as a prospect. I don't know. I kind of worry about that. I almost want to just defer that pick, until next year, in a way, because I think next year will probably be it's going to be a good draft.
Next year's draft is going to be very exciting. The
3 1s.
Oh yeah, 3 1s, 1 2. It's going to be good. I think the biggest thing about this draft is it is very strong in defense, right? It's very top heavy. Like you just said, once you get out of the first round, it's going to be rougher with these prospects. The offensive line, the best offensive linemen you're going to see are going to go in the first round. It drains up after that. Defensive line, very strong in this draft. There might be talk where Ruben Bain falls because of how many people are loving Bailey now. Because there's talk that at the Jets pick 2, you could either go Bain, Reese, or Bailey. And there's a great argument for all of them. So Bailey, I think, out of the 3, I think I would rank Reese my first guy that I would go with, then Bain, and then Bailey. But all of them, I would be ecstatic if we got any of them at pick 2. But other than that, pick 16, I think there's still some great talent there. Sonny Styles ain't going to make it there. He's going to go to the Cowboys most likely. Caleb Downs, I think, might go to Miami. There's a lot of players that I think are going to end up falling. But first round's going to be fun. I think just in general, first round's going to be really fun to watch. I think the Jets are going to snag 2 really, really good players. And if they get Caden McDonald, I know you were saying, Murph, you're not the biggest fan of his. He reminds me so much of like a Vince Wilfork. Just a guy who clogs up those holes and everything.
Yeah. To be clear, it's not that I don't think that Caden McDonald is good at what he does. I just think that drafting strictly a run-stuffing interior defensive lineman at 16 or, God forbid, 2 would be just ludicrous. Like that's end of the first round, beginning of second round type of territory, even like Vita Vea, right? He was like the last pick in the first round or something, I think. Or he was somewhere in that range. Like, and he's a stud. Like, he's the best at what he does. Like, if you talk about run stuffing, IDL, you look it up in the dictionary, Vita Vea is right beside his picture is right there, right? So, did you look it up? When did he get picked?
I didn't look it up. I was just reading the chat because I keep seeing people saying that Juwan that Jawan Briggs and Caden McDonald are like the same player. That's completely wrong.
No, not at all.
Jawan Briggs is more of a pass rusher who can be flexed at the defensive edge position or as a defensive tackle. Caden McDonald is your typical nose guard or 3-tech. It's like, come on now.
Harrison Phillips, you can maybe argue, but not on Briggs. But I just don't like that skill set at 15. Like or 16. I feel like at 16, you got to get something that's that does more than just stuffs that middle.
One tech, or more than a 1-tech, or a 3-tech even. All right, I do have something we can segue into. Ryan, I have to put you in the back for 2 minutes if you need to get, a drink or something, but then you're going to come out and you're going to be spotlighted. So be ready. Be ready, man. All right. Okay. Murph, we did this last week. Okay. Pretend that Ryan has not been here at all up to this point. I want to read you a few hot takes that we had earlier so it was September, okay? Preseason, pre-week 1. And I want to read you another entrant. Last week we did Johnny Boy, okay? This week I want to see if you know who this guy was. Wink, wink. These are the hot takes that this gentleman had pre-week 1. First up, hot take number 1, New York Jet edition. Joe Tippmann will win Protector of the Year. Okay. Hot take number 2. Andre Cisco will have an all-pro season, enough to warrant an extension by the New York Jets. All right. There was, I think, 1 or 2 others, but I saved the best 3. And here is the third one. Shedeur Sanders has a good rookie season, and he actually makes the Cleveland Browns a better team. All 3 labeled as hot by us early September. I want to ask you your thoughts, maybe even if you can predict who that might have been. And then we'll get, we'll get some other opinions. But I want yours first, brother.
Well, rest in peace to the Cisco talk. I was on that bandwagon too, buddy. I was on that bandwagon too, and did not work out for us. Is it coaching? Is it him? I don't know. But definitely did not work out. Joe Tippmann, I felt like he had a solid year. He's got to be guard, man. Like at this point, we got to stop screwing around with the center stuff. He plays rock solid at guard. Not Protector of the Year. That's a hell of an award to win. And Shedeur Sanders. I remember somebody was really high on Shedeur, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Clancy, but I'm not. If I had to guess, I would throw my guess at it being Clancy's hot takes, but I don't know.
We so we said Tippmann Protector of the Year 1. Number 2, Cisco All-Pro season and extension. Number 2, and general NFL prediction. Hot take. Let me make sure that's clear. This was hot take season. Shedeur would have a good rookie season and make the Browns better. I'd like to argue that one, because was that one right? Maybe, when you consider what they look like with Gabriel. But anyways, now coming out, the owner of these 3 hot takes, the one, the only, Ryan Ward.
Oh, was it Ryan? Oh my goodness.
Cisco one kills me. I loved this. I loved Cisco when he signed here. Tippmann, I thought, played very, very well. and could be considered it as guard. Oh God, Shador played better for the Browns. He made them watchable.
No,
Man, the
come
Cisco
on.
one kills me the most.
Come on, Shador didn't show. Come on.
He better than Gabriel.
Okay,
Flacco was awful
just
there.
because the toilet
made
is
them
done
better.
flushing doesn't
It
mean
made
it's
them
still not
better.
a toilet.
He made them better.
Hey, somehow we make them a good. We let that pass, man. It passed.
Hey, just because I took a dirty penny and I washed it and scrubbed it and took a toothbrush to it and cleaned it up and it's all shiny and shit, doesn't mean it's not still worth 1 cent. You know, I'm just saying.
You know what? Shout out Charles B. He says this is a beautiful segment. There's too little reviewing of the takes of prognosticators, man. We got more of these. I'm going to try to hit them when we get the folks back in here. Rather than just burn through them all in 20 minutes. There's some good ones, man. I got to get Nolan back in here who had some spicy ones as well. Scott's got some to answer for as well. Ryan, yeah, thoughts on that? You said the Cisco one hurts the most. I think the Tipman one was, I mean, if he might have been one of our most valuable O-linemen. I don't think that's a total bad take. The Shador one we'll leave aside for now, but Cisco and Tipman, what do you think of those two?
Tippmann, I think that's still a solid one. I think Tippmann played very, very well this year as a right guard. And like Murph said, keep him at guard. Stop with the center talk. If you're not happy with Myers, go get Slaughter from Florida. Go get Jones from Iowa. Bring them in for competition. They're very good players that you can bring in. The Cisco one hurts. I was so happy when we signed Andre Cisco, and I thought the defense was going to be perfect with him. I was confident in him, and then he was awful. And I don't think playing next to Tony Adams was great for him either. But then the injury and everything, and it just, it hurts. And now what's going to hurt too is he's going to go sign a short deal somewhere and probably play very, very well for this team. And it's going to be, it just pisses me off.
It felt like he was going to be good, man. Like not even just like my like thoughts on the signing, but like when he was on Twitter, like he was interactive with Jets fans and stuff, and that doesn't mean anything to do with his play, but like he was like highlighting plays and talking like tape and talking ball and like this is what you should do. And I don't know if you guys saw that, but like he was like the dude is locked in. He loves football.
And he's handsome. I mean, eloquent.
And he made the thong song, dude. Come on.
He like fit the system so perfectly and then just fell off. And we got him as this big no ball hawk guy who's going to get tons of turnovers and everything. And then Jets end up with 0 turnovers all year or 0 interceptions all year. So.
Dude, I don't want to blast that take because I think we were all high on Cisco, mainly because not in 2024. He had 1 pick then, but he had 7 the 2 years prior total. And we were like, okay, this guy can get us a couple picks a year. Dude, no, didn't happen. Did not. And I do wish he stayed healthy because maybe it would have started click. I mean, the whole defense was terrible when he got hurt. So it's like, how much of it was him? How much of it wasn't? It's sad, but had to do that upright. Thank you.
I appreciate it. When you said the bold takes and I heard the Tipman one, I'm like, shit. I'm like, oh no, I know the Cisco one's coming. I forgot about the Shador one.
I think there might have been one more. I don't even remember what it was, but I got most, and those were the good ones. Those were the ones worthy of circling back to. I'll say that. Something worthy of circling back. Man, look at that segue. Fishbowl Fantasy Sports, who I've never seen in here.
I love him. Used to do videos with him. He's great.
Okay. So this is more up your alley. I think this question is for you as well. Do you want to read it first and then maybe take a bite out of it?
I was reading it a little earlier. Bailey has been consistent all year. He's got a high motor and everything. But dominant player. Reese disappeared second half of the season. Reese, I think, just brings so much more versatility, and people are going to knock him in the Miami game and knock him as an edge rusher because that's not his strength. As an off-ball linebacker, though, he is dominant. Look at Micah Parsons as an off-ball linebacker. They tried him at edge purely as edge in Dallas, and he struggled at first, but then they moved him to off-ball linebacker, and he was dominant. I think Arvell Reese can be that type of player. Keep him as a linebacker. He's a solid tackler. He's good in coverage, great in the run game, and he can blitz every now and again. And if you get into a blitz-happy type of defense, I think Arvell Reese can succeed, especially if he has like Jermaine Johnson succeeding up in front of him as an edge rusher, or if you bring JFM back as a defensive end, something like that. I think Bailey, if you want to go just somebody who with very high motor and everything like that, Bailey will scream off the page at you. But I think as an overall prospect, Reese is the best one, and he's my favorite one in the draft anyway. So I'm going to promote Reese as much as I can.
And I'm sorry I was a little slow to pick up on this. This chat actually comes into us live from the JetsWard on YouTube. This comment, it funneled over from there, and I was wondering why I couldn't find it. We are actually live here in the Danger Zone and live over on the JetsWard. Let's freaking go. History being made tonight.
Yeah, I was able to figure it out before. I was able to join our streams, join everything together. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, dude. Again, that's a first for us. Pretty cool stuff, man. Because we can get hopefully some of our folks over there to sub you up, man, and vice versa, man. Fishbowl, great question, Murph. Is there anything you want to add to this question? Because he says not only has Bailey been consistent all season, but he's saying Reese disappeared the second half of the season. Is that the take you have as a resident Buckeye fan?
I don't think that Reese disappeared the second half of the season. I think he was still impactful. Maybe it didn't show up in stats, but that dude was disruptive. He's all over the field. He has a natural instinct in the run game. He's excellent against the run, whether as a linebacker or off the edge. But I will say that I disagree, Ryan. I think that if he comes to the NFL, he needs to be an edge rusher. I think he needs to be trained up. Obviously, he's going to be a little raw at first, but the dude is a freak. And I know sometimes you get negative connotations whenever you hear like freak athlete and stuff, because a lot of times you see those guys and they're freaks, but they're not actually good at football. That is not the case with Reese. Reese is a ball player. Like he's like I said, excellent against the run. He's been able to play all over the field. He's even dropped in coverage. He's done it all. But the dude is a freak, and he needs to be on the edge. And if you look at the film, he will stand up, pulling guards, 340-pound pulling guards, just stand them up like they're like 200 pounds, and he just like, get out of my way, he's 243 pounds, and the consensus is a lot of guys are talking like, hey, if he can add 10 pounds of muscle and just play edge, he could be an absolute baller. And that's what I'm saying. If you're picking with the number 2 pick in the draft, you need to pick the best player in the draft, because number 1 always goes to the quarterback, and the quarterback is probably not the best player in the draft, but he's a quarterback. You need to pick the best player in the draft, the dude that has the highest ceiling, and the highest ceiling is Arvell Reese. He has stuff that you can't teach. Like, he is a Micah Parsons type level of freak athlete. Like, if you can, and he's shown that he can ball. It's not that just athleticism. He's shown that he can ball. Proper coaching, he could be an absolute stud. Maybe not year 1, but you give him a couple years in the league, and he's going to start really popping off, man. I'm just saying, you got to go. In my opinion, you got to go Reese at 2. If you're staying at 2, you got to pick Reese. I like Bain. I like Bailey. I think all 3 of those guys are excellent players. I don't know that the other 2 are worthy of 2. In my opinion,
I agree with you on that. I love Reese. He's my
Also,
favorite in
one
the draft.
one little thing about Bailey that bothers me, and I know it's just it's probably stupid, but he is really slender in his lower half. And I don't love that on a guy that's going to potentially be putting his hand in the dirt. Like, you got to have like some leg strength. And I know he's fast, and I know, you know what I mean. I don't know if that's going to translate into the NFL unless you got the strength to keep it up. Like, I just he's built well up here, right? But like his lower half, like I think he needs to hit leg day more often. Maybe it's dumb. Maybe he is strong as shit in his lower half, but he's just not built thick. I don't know, but it's just something that worries me, and also his maturity worries me too. Like the dude like punched like a reporter or something. Something happened. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like that worries me too. Like if you can't handle yourself in college, whenever you get all that money in the pros, are you going to act right then?
He pulled a Kinlaw, you're telling me. Damn.
I think there was a reason for it. I think it was after the game, and they were trying to get the cameras in his face, and he was trying to stick it to the locker room, and there was an issue. I don't know the full story of it, but I think it's blown way out of proportion.
What I will say about these two guys is, and it has nothing to do with their play on the field, but I do kind of like, and someone pointed this out on Twitter. I wish I could remember who it was, but they said when you talk about Reese, he's got like a million arm braces and a million sleeves and all these leg things. Then you look over at David Bailey, and he has nothing. He has low socks on, no flash whatsoever, just all about that business. I'm not saying that makes him a better selection. I'm just saying that these guys' personalities must be two different things. And I can't say for sure which personality or which film will like better, but I do think that one of those three defensive ends have to be the choice we make at 2, or we have to try to find someone who demands to have their pick of that litter and is willing to come up 1, 2, maybe 3 spots, even at a discount, where we can still take the best receiver, a safety. You know, that's kind of my dream, is to get Downs, but not at 2, maybe more like 5. But you know, we got to either choose who we want or let someone else and then go, pivot. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Reese, you guys said it. Reese and Bailey, both good. I don't know that one disappeared. I think that, like Murph said, maybe just disappeared from the box score, but I'm sure their presence was felt, and they probably will both be top 5 picks, maybe top 7. I think Dom C said that his defensive ends on his big board are 3rd, 5th, and 7th highest. And that's on a big board, mind you. Number 1 and 2 for Dom was Love, the running back, first. Second, Caleb Downs.
Makes sense.
That it's not taking into account positional value, and that makes things difficult. But we gotta get more out of Dom eventually. Right now, though, I think we're chomping on what we can, and I think that there's going to be a good player at 2. If we have to choose one, we're going to get someone good. We just need him to be high impact, right?
Oh yeah, somebody just to bring something to this defense. I think it has to be defense. People will argue to go with Carnell Tate or Tyson or somebody. I think you need to build this defense, and whether it's Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, Bain, or Bailey, any of those guys are going to help. But
I try thinking like, with this being pick 2, and the first pick is a quarterback. We all know it, right? Like we all know first pick is a quarterback. You're getting the best player in the draft. So like, to me, like the player has to have like Hall of Fame potential, right? Like he's going to be so damn good, like year in and year out, that like he may be talked about in the Hall of Fame later. Like maybe he won't get there, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, he's got to have that potential. And to me, Reese is the only guy that has that type of potential, like on the big board. Like
Caleb Downs, baby. Caleb Downs.
I would argue Caleb Downs too.
maybe Caleb Downs. I don't know if I'm willing to stamp that on him just yet, but maybe. I do love me some Caleb Downs.
Well, let me ask you guys
I-
this. Hold on.
I just got to finish my point here real quick. You mentioned the wide receivers like Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, or whatever, like at 2. I don't love it because, like, when I think of 2, I think of like Jamar Chase, right? I think of a player that, because everybody knew when Jamar Chase was entering the draft, even though he took a year off, everybody knew this dude is a stud. And when you draft him, you're getting at least a Pro Bowl receiver year 1. Everybody knew that. And there's not a receiver in this draft that I'm like, I can stamp that on. I think there are good receivers in the draft. I'm very confident that Mekhi Lemon is going to be a good receiver in the NFL. I'm confident that Carnell Tate's going to be a good receiver in the NFL. I just don't think that they're going to be like that dude like Jamar Chase is. Like, I can't justify picking a guy at 2 unless I really feel like he's going to be that guy, or if he has like that type of potential. Anyway, go ahead, Dane.
I was just gonna say that no, wide receiver is not on my board at 2 overall. It's not. And I dude, I guess it's a pipe dream, but I'm just really hoping we can slide to 4 or 5, even to 3, man. But then I can take a safety, because then now I have a third that takes the price off of taking that safety so high. But I want to know your guys' thoughts, because there are 3 defensive ends. How many of them do you think are, 5-time Pro Bowlers? I don't know. But the thing I always think about with Caleb Downs, and the thing that I think will suit us, is I think his floor is higher than guessing which defensive end gets to 5 Pro Bowls and which doesn't. I think Downs is going to be a great football player no matter where he's put, what he's doing. He just has a knack for the ball. He has instincts that are insane. If that's your line of thinking, his floor is higher than the others. Does it soften the blow of needing to take him 2nd overall if you were to have to, or would you rather just take the chance that the defensive end that you take is that dude? And hey, we already have 2 defensive ends that are we just cutting bait on? Or are we paying? Because we do have to invest more to keep them. All this is like an algorithm to me. Whereas Caleb Downs can come in and he can man that safety room the next 10 years. You take a defensive end, now all of a sudden you got to trade Will McDonald or let him walk. You got to trade Jermaine Johnson, let him walk. That comes out of their value. Like, do you see where I'm going?
I think with the player, Caleb Downs, everybody's going to argue positional value, that you don't take a safety that high. If he's that good, if you think he's going to be that caliber of player that's going to be top safety year in, year out, and going to change your defense and make it one of the top ones, fuck positional value. You take him. You run to the podium for it if you think he's that Hall of Fame type player. Because if you think he can change your game that much, that he can change and make things easier for you, I think you do it. And especially if you're not confident on these edge rushers. Yeah, some of them could be good, but each one of them have their own questions. Ruben Bain, he's probably going to drop a little bit because of his arm length. That's a big problem with him. So arm length is going to be a big issue with him. Can he use those bull rush moves that he uses in college against a pro offensive tackle? We don't know. Murph brought up the smaller frame from Bailey. Is that going to match up well in the NFL? There's a lot of issues with some of these guys. Caleb Downs, if they took him at 2, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be pissed off. I'd like they identified a player that they see changing this defense for the better. Hell, I'll go with it.
I'm gonna preface this by saying that I love Downs as a player. I do. I'm really high on him. But if you're gonna, is he a Kyle Hamilton type, prospect? I don't know exactly. He doesn't have a ton of starts. Like, I think he only played this 1 year, right?
Yeah, I think this was his first real year.
Yeah. So that could be a knock on him. You know what I mean? Not a ton of college starts, and then he's going to transition to the pros. Will it work? I think it will. I think Caleb Downs is going to be a good player.
Clancy said he played at Bama too.
Yeah. He played at Ohio State in 24 and 25, and he played at Bama.
Okay, so he does have the starting ability.
3 years, yeah.
Well, maybe it was okay. I thought both Styles and him both had limited starting experience, but maybe it was just Styles.
Looks like it because he had 107 tackles at Bama. He had 81 at the Buckeyes, and then 68. Yeah.
Styles concerns me a little bit as well because he's a converted safety as well, too, as an interior linebacker, and that's kind of what we have in Jamie and Sherwood already. Converted safety at middle linebacker. So you'd pretty much be doubling up on the same type of player if you go with Sonny Styles. I do love the prospect, though. I think he's a fantastic linebacker and got great instincts. But, again, is he somebody you'd want to go with, too? But sorry.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Like, how dire of a need it is for our team factor into our choice at second overall if the players on your board 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all kind of in the same mix. That's kind of where I was going with Downs. I think safety is a larger need than defensive end, but the defensive ends are harder to find. Whereas we have 2 that, do we even have 2? Do we have 1? Do we have 0? I don't even know, man. It depends on how you evaluate our edge room right now. But I think it does have to be on the table that if this regime is high on our edge room, maybe they don't go edge it too. That's all I'm trying to say. And Downs, I'm glad he's there because if you are high on our edge room, and I'm not, if they are, I'm glad there's an alternate avenue where they can still get a guy that everyone thinks is worthy of a top 5 pick.
I forgot to touch on this earlier when you guys were talking about it, but yeah, BPA, man, keep that in your head. Just BPA. We don't need to overthink it and start thinking about positional value and stuff like that. Most things on our defense is a need for us, so why not just go BPA? Like I said, I'm not saying necessarily I want Caleb Downs at 2, but if we did trade down to 5 or 6 or something, and he's there, and Bain and Reese are gone, and we're not crazy about how Bailey fits our style of defense. We feel like we already have him with Will McDonald. Yeah, why not draft Downs at that point? I just, BPA, guys. We can't overthink.
There is a world where we could trade up from 16 to get Caleb Downs. And imagine coming away in the first round with Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs. Because the team you'd have to worry about the most, Miami, possibly Cincinnati going for a safety. So there is a world where you could bundle up some of these picks and get 2 long-term studs on that defense.
I think you got to worry about KC as well.
I think they go Sadiq or Love.
I think they're interested in Love, but Sadiq too. But they let Justin Reed go. Their defense struggled this year. I think they'd be looking for a safety too.
I think with KC, they're going to try to revamp it. I think they do have a good amount of money, if I'm not wrong. I think they do have money. I think they're going to try to revamp that defense and bring in some weapons. They were desperate to try to get Breece Hall last year at running back. So I think trying to bring in a player like Love, if he's there, or going for Sadiq, or if a receiver falls to you, I think they're going to prioritize getting a weapon for Mahomes and then worry about or getting like a Kamari Ramsey later in the draft for a safety.
I don't think that Love makes it past New Orleans, but something that's aside from the draft that I did want to just bring up, Dane. I don't want to throw us completely off or whatever. I don't know if you had any plans. I did want to mention Sherwood was brought up earlier, and I just want to point out, like, I do like Muji. I think that he's done some good things, but you have to point out chinks in the armor when you see them, and I remember, like, I was like, oh, okay, I guess, but at the same time I was like, that's a little odd. Them giving Sherwood an extension before ever playing for Aaron Glenn was very questionable, and he got paid good money, he got paid good money. And looking back at that was a bad move, man. Like I said, I do like Muji, and I think he deserves a chance to stick here and see if he can build a solid team. But that, if we're going to chalk up some chinks in his armor, if we're going to put some cons, beside the pros list, that's got to be like one of the top of the list right there, dude. What was he thinking?
I think with that, I think it was more of a Glenn type of thing. Because if you saw Glenn, I think the power shift kind of changed at the end of the year. I felt like Muji was more powerful at the end and Aaron Glenn was more subdued. But in the beginning, I felt like Aaron Glenn was like identifying players. These are my guys. These are my guys. And Muji was just like, all right, we'll bring him in. He'll figure out a contract for him. I think that was the type of move that Aaron Glenn did that wanted. And it was egg on his face. It didn't work. I think Sherwood, another year in the system or getting a defensive coordinator that will change things, I think he still has a lot of talent in there. But I think Muji, I'll say this because I think I might be in the minority with this one. I don't think Muji is on the hot seat going into the year because I think his moves that he has made, finding a Briggs, being able to get out of that Sauce contract and trading him, and the deal getting A.D. Mitchell here and 3 first-round picks and acquiring all this stuff, I think he's much safer than Aaron Glenn is. I think Aaron Glenn is more on the hot seat because I think more of last year's issues wasn't a personnel problem. I think it was more of a coaching problem than anything. I think Muji did what any other, or he did a lot of things that were very, very good for this organization. But I think the coaching was just a disaster last year. So with the Sherwood move, yeah, it doesn't look good on Muji because he's the one who gave him the contract. But I think that was more of an Aaron Glenn like saying, I want this guy here. That's my personal opinion.
You could be right, but we don't know. That's what
right.
sucks about it. We don't know how much control Glenn has or had at that time. And it's tough because it's like you want your GM to communicate well with the head coach. You want them to be in sync, hand in hand, having the same vision, doing the right things. But if Glenn has that much control and he's causing Muji to make bad decisions like that, that's not good.
Agreed. Another chat came in from the JetsWard. They are getting their messages out of the psych ward of JetsWard. Jedi Knight of the 13th Order of 6 chimes in with his Joe Klecko profile pic. I like it. He says, Rex Ryan for DC. Thoughts, gentlemen?
He's probably going to become the DC of the Giants. I wouldn't be shocked at that one. He worked for Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh would be, the rumor is Harbaugh would be interested in bringing him back as DC. So that could be an interesting move.
Another one off of Leonard's purview. I like that. Lock up another defensive coordinator position. I like it. Murph, what say you?
Rex Ryan is done coaching, guys.
Yeah.
Whether he believes it or not, whether you guys believe it or not, Rex Ryan is done coaching. Like his time is up. He's probably not going to get a job, not a high level job like coordinator or higher. Like it's not going to happen. And I don't think he would take anything below a DC. I don't even know if he would take a defensive coordinator job. I think he wants to be a head coach again, but I just don't see it happening. Nobody's going to give him that shot. So let's just bury that, and and everybody that wants Rex back for the Jets, like let's let our good memories of Rex stay good memories, just like we should have let our good memories of Aaron Glenn stay good memories. Because now he came back and it's a complete fucking shit show right now.
Yeah.
And if we have another shitty year after this, and he gets fired, then that's what people are going to think of when they think of Aaron Glenn. Oh my God, he was a train wreck as a coach for the Jets. He set us back 10 years or so. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. That's why I hate hiring former Jets. Like, in theory, it's like, oh, that would be so cool if we won a Super Bowl with our former Jet. Yeah, that would be great. But dude, it doesn't hardly ever work out.
I just love Fishbowl Rich sending in the Rex going back to Buffalo and the feet emojis and stuff like that. Oh my God. Crazy.
I love it too. We have like I said, he's coming in live from the JetsWard. So is Jack.
I love Antonio Pierce as a defensive coordinator candidate. I think that would be a really good one. But with Fishbowl Fantasy Sports, he does have a YouTube channel as well. Make sure you check him out. He talks anything, fantasy, football, baseball. He can do it all. So very, very knowledgeable. Does great work. Check out his channel as well.
Ryan, before we get you out of here, we're not fully transitioning to this segment, but I feel the need to get your takes on the next subject matter. So, Murph, save your takes. We will get them after. But, Ryan, I want to give you a chance to speak out on what is the NFL's Final Four. I don't want your Super Bowl champion yet unless you're ready to give it, but I want to hear what you think these championship games will go like this weekend.
I think the Broncos and Patriots game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. I think Stidham will be able to hold his own. I'm not the most confident in him, but I believe in that Denver Broncos defense. I think they're going to have a rebound game, especially after how poorly they played against the Bills. And I understand they had the 4 turnovers and stuff like that, but they gave up way too many points to that team for all the studs they have. I think they're going to make it really close with the Rams and the Seahawks. This is going to be a fantastic game. I do end up thinking the Seahawks pull it out by less than a touchdown. And I will give my Super Bowl pick. I do think the Patriots and the Seahawks are going to be in the Super Bowl. And I think Sam finally exercises those ghosts that he saw years and years ago. So when he was with the Jets and ended up losing, getting blown out by them. So I think Seahawks end up winning it. But I think that Seahawks-Rams game is going to be a fantastic one.
I love it. I love it, brother. We've had you for over 2 hours, man. I appreciate you. I'm sure Murph does too, as he yawns over there on the East Coast. Let me just give you the floor, Ryan. I know. Hold on. Let me get us. Sorry, I'm fumbling shit here.
No, you're good.
There we go. You have the floor, sir. Where can my viewers find you And what have you got cooking this next week, brother?
So, guys, you can find me at my YouTube channel called the JetsWard. I post videos once or twice a day. Try to get as much stuff out there as I can. I also post stuff on X, Instagram, and on TikTok. All the videos, shorts, everything. Putting together my big board of players, positional rankings for the draft. Recently came out with videos talking about 11 vet quarterback options that the Jets could target, realistic options, have rookie options that they can target. Just a lot of stuff going on right now. Any news that comes out, I'm trying to get on there quick to get it out there. But again, just enjoying a good time and enjoying great content with you guys and great conversations with your chat. You guys are awesome people, and I love being here. And thank you and your wonderful viewers. Make sure you guys, if you haven't hit that like button and subscribed yet, make sure you do. These guys do awesome stuff.
Oh, shit. You just spoke to the chat so heartily that a viewer chimed in and said, I'm going to drop 5 gifted memberships. Ryan, I have to think that you had a part to play in that, man. Appreciate you, man. Hazel chimes in. She says, 5 spot. Here you go. 2, 1189 Paris. 2, Bald Beaver 69. 2, The Meadowlands Swamp Thing. 2, Good Guy Greg, not to be confused with the troll Greg, 55. And last but not least, the one, the only, Sco. We know Sco, man. Good guy. Hazel, you're a legend for that. Appreciate you. Ryan, man, we want to have you back here in the next couple weeks. Hopefully the folks are down, because what Murph and I were talking about today is doing a free agency primer episode. And we couldn't think of a better guy that would be more well equipped for something like that than you. So stay in touch, man. Again, folks, check out the description down below for Ryan's, not only his YouTube, but his TikTok, his social security number. All that stuff is down there. Ryan, man, thanks for joining us tonight. And man, Murph, did I miss anything?
No, hey, thanks for coming on, Ryan. As always, we had a great time just chopping it up, BSing about ball, BSing about the Jets, and just other things going on around the league. It's always a great time, man.
Oh, it's fantastic being here. I love being here with you guys. It's always fun. Thank you so much for having me on again, guys. Appreciate it.
For sure, man. Catch you later, Ryan. Have a good weekend, brother.
You as well. See you guys. Have a great rest of your night.
Peace. That is Ryan of the JetsWard on YouTube. Check him out for sure. I have to make sure that he realizes he may want to break the connection with us, or else he's going to have a 5-hour stream on his channel that just gets more diluted as the time goes on. But anyways, Murph, we talked about a lot, man. We have to do pick'ems. I have not seen our third amigo. You think you can man the ship for like 90 seconds, Murph? And I'm going to do a couple things in the back real quick. If I put the chat on the screen, can you handle that, brother?
Nope, I'm going to end the stream as soon as you leave.
You got this, man. They don't bite, I promise.
Yeah. Okay. Let me scroll up here and see if I missed anything. Not going to highlight that one. That one says some quite outlandish things. The chat. I love this chat. I swear. Once again, thanks, Hazel. Clancy's trying to suck up a little bit. He's trying to get him a membership. He said, I still ain't got one. Yeah, what Hazel said in there later, you gotta like change your settings to where it accepts gifts. Maybe you already have. I don't know. And it's just a lot of luck too, man. Honestly, I used to think like it was people that was like the most active would get the memberships, the people that commented the most, or people that were currently in the live stream. But I don't think that's the case at all, because like some of the people that get memberships, like I don't see them commenting. Like maybe they are watching, but they're not commenting. I don't know. So I don't know the algorithm when it comes to getting getting memberships, but you'll get yours, Clancy. Don't worry, buddy. You're on the list. If I got to make it happen myself, I will.
Murph, so you did wonderful, sir. Clancy, although I think he's burying the lead. I think he got one month one, and then it expired, and I think YouTube said, you know what, you're good for a little while there, Clancy. I could be wrong, but I think that was the case, and I do think they do that. They give it to engagement first, and then after one, you gotta go to the back of the line. But Murph, we're actually dog sitting this weekend. What do you think of this little guy? This little girl?
That's a fluff ball, if I ever seen one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah, a little pocket pooch. But yeah, dude, appreciate you guys. You guys, there's still 30 in here, Murph. I think Scott must be out fighting bears or something right now. I think we're gonna miss him tonight, brother. I think we are.
Chopping wood, fighting bears, just squatch things.
Squatch things, licking mushrooms, stuff like that. But I don't know, man. What do you think? Should we rattle off a couple of our hot takes to stall for time, or should we get right into pick 'em?
I kind of want to give Scott a little bit of a chance. We'll give him another 15 or so before we bust into pick 'em.
All right, let's burn an easy one or two, and if I won't go through them all, but membership milestone chat comes in from Hazel. She says her 1 month anniversary membership message is, and I quote, "Scott's probably out somewhere cheating at Wordle."
Hey, there was definitely that thought in the back of my head there for a good like 2 or 3 month span where I'm like, there's no way this guy's doing this. And then he kind of fell off there for a while, and I got hot there for a minute. So maybe we just all have our moments where we get hot, but Scott is definitely a force in the Wordle universe.
I think you're right. And I think if you followed this show long enough, you know that there is some parity around here. We did regular season pick 'em. Scott was at the top of that leaderboard for over 2 months. Then we parlayed it into playoff pick 'em. Old Murph near the top of the list there. We're going to get to that. But then we also did fantasy football playoff version. Neither one of those guys are at the top. Someone else is. So that's a good thing, man. There's not one person dominating everything we do. It's someone else. And who knows, guys, when we do regular season fantasy football, maybe you'll be at the top of that list. When we try to predict the top 10 picks of the draft, maybe you guys will be at the top of that list, man. It's always someone's turn. Stick around and take yours when it comes. Murph, I have, you know what? Why don't I read a hot take of one of ours and you tell me if you think you said it, or if you tell me if you think I said it, okay?
Okay.
First up, we have the following hot take submitted September 5th, before week 1 commenced. hot take of Garrett Wilson will fall short of 1,000 yards, something he's never done before. Who do you think said that, and how do you think that hot take fared?
I think a really intelligent, handsome fella said that, and I think it worked out pretty well. No, this guy. This guy.
I will say you got a lot of pushback from our chatters when it came to that hot take, especially since it was 35 minutes into the episode. It was your very first, your very first hot take. Bam. You know how accurate you were, Murph? You know, I don't know if Garrett was healthy all year if he would have hit 1,000 yards.
I think he was looking at having a pretty solid season. It's hard to say because things really fell off the rails, towards the end of the season. But it's hard to say. But I had a feeling like he's gotten banged up in seasons before, and he always fought through it and came back in the game. And I figured eventually he would get one that was going to keep him out, and I thought that was a high possibility. And I also was not confident in our quarterback room to get him there. So that's where I kind of bet I put my chips, so to say.
That was one of the better predictions, actually, of the whole episode. Very good. Nicely done, sir. Here's another one for you. And it's probably the last one I'll burn tonight because, we still got to go toe to toe with Scott with, the whole allotment. But here's one for you. The New York Jets will not surrender 30 points in a game all year. What do you think of that one, Murph? Who said that and how did they fare?
That's got to be you. That's got to be you.
You know how long that take survived, Murph?
Honestly, I can't remember. I know we were at least pushing it first game of the year.
I'm pretty sure.
The Bills dropped 30 on us.
It was very first week against the Steelers.
Oh, did they break the 30? I couldn't remember if it was like 28 or, yeah.
34 to 32. Bam. And then we gave up 30 the next week. 29, 27, 37. Dude, they literally, that hot take was a pinata this year.
It got beat to hell. And hey, honestly, I saw where the logic was coming from. Like, in theory, the defense should have been better. We had a defensive-minded head coach. We still had talent. We still had sauce.
Run the ball.
Still had Quincy. We thought Sherwood apparently was becoming something. We had all these different, we drafted A.Z. Thomas, Brandon Stevens, like all these things. We're like, hey, this team should be able to be solid at defense. I mean, maybe we didn't think we'd be, first or anything, but like a lot of us probably thought that maybe we'd have like the 15th ranked defense or 17th or whatever. So it seemed justified. It seemed like there was some thought process behind it when you said it, but I knew in my heart of hearts there's always going to be somebody that's going to drop 30 on you, especially whenever you're in the same division as the Buffalo Bills,
Yes.
Somebody's going to drop 30 on you.
Well, and the other thing, I mean, aside from all those things you mentioned, which were factored in to that take of mine, the most glaring that you didn't mention that was the main reason why I did it was our play style that we thought we were going to have. Run the ball, control the clock, then the other team not only will have to score 30, but they're going to have to do it in 25, 30 minutes, like tall order. That did not come to fruition at all. We did have all these acquisitions. They didn't pan out, but also our intended play style did not pan out either. And there's a couple teams that, I mean, Jacksonville almost hung 50 on us. Terrible. Now that was late in the year. I mean, New England 42, Buffalo 35, Cincinnati 38, and we won. Like, no matter how you split that one, that take was shellacked. Very bad. That was definitely, I think, one of my worst. I did have some redeeming ones we'll get into. But for now, you started out, you're 1-0 on hot takes. I am 0 and a million on mine so far.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. There's more to go. There's more to go. You have one that's quite spicy that I do remember that actually worked out pretty well, and I never thought it would. So we'll get into that later. But I game recognizes game, so that's all I'm saying.
At least we didn't go over like some.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why somebody isn't on this show right now.
You know what? Like I said, I do. Yeah, he's hiding, right? I do have a couple things that I picked up today, and that's, some of these hot takes I want to save to have the people actually hear. We'll get into that. A couple people I know will not call in. I can burn one or two of those. So I have two different chatters from that episode that had hot takes of their own. Murph, I don't expect you to guess them, but I have a user, a subscriber to the Danger Zone, whose hot take was that Justin Fields would have 3,000 passing and 1,000 rushing. I'll tell you who it is, but before I do, what do you think of that hot take? Would it have passed the panel's sniff test? And then how do you think it fared?
Well, I definitely know how it fared, but did it pass the panel sniff test? It depends whether the sniff test is are we sniffing the hotness of it, or okay, yeah. So I thought it was hot because I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was going to happen, and I thought it was very unlikely. And once again, I was right. But all right, I'm getting a little too full of myself here. All right. Yeah, I didn't think it was possible, so I thought it was hot. But and sure enough, it didn't work out.
That user that submitted that take was old Dino. Old Dino. That was his hot take. He's here sporadically. I think I might have even seen him tonight. But a guy that is here rather often gave me these next three. Okay. First one, Herbert wins the West. Okay. Second one, the Chiefs will go 8-9. Okay. Talking to me. You're talking to me. Number 3, Kelsey retires and the Chief dynasty is over. Those are all over the place, not Jet related. But what do you think of those? Herbert wins the West. Casey goes under 500. Kelsey retires, and their dynasty is not just done this year; it's over.
It wasn't super far from the mark, KC actually didn't even get 8-9, did they? They were 7-10 or something. I don't know. Their record wasn't great. I could be wrong.
Let me hold on. 6-11.
6-11. Wow.
Also, the Chargers won 11 games, but they did not win the West.
Oh, somebody forgot to factor in the Broncos.
And Kelsey, now that Bieniemy is there, sure sounds like he might give it one more go.
Yeah. I feel like he would have already announced his retirement by now if he was planning on doing it. So you weren't far from the mark because it probably is only one more year for Kelsey, But and the Chiefs didn't have a good year. They actually undershot that 8-9 season. The dynasty, I'm not saying the dynasty's over because they still have two men. They have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not willing to for sure say that yet either. But I will say, technically, this guy was 0 for 3. This guy I said is here often. The guy's name is Adirondack Fly Guy.
AFG.
AFG. Very good hot takes. Unfortunately, the live chat portion of that program is gone. Long story, but gone. So I could only get the ones that are here on the side when they're on the side, and those were the only ones that I was able to grab from the chat. So some of you guys were saved by technical jargon. But yeah, AFG and Dino with those hot takes. Murph, I think we've stalled long enough. We got to get into this, man. So let's do it, man. Let's do it. Do it upright. See if I can find it here. There we go. We kind of teased it with Ryan. Well, you know what? Before we get into this, sorry, we gotta look at the results, don't we? We need the victory laps to be taken. I have 2 slides, a little wider than they were the week before, but this is the bottom of the list with a maximum point total thus far of 14 points. We have the following individuals making up the second half of the leaderboard. Charles, Chris B, Rusty, and Oscar, they missed week 2, so they did not improve whatsoever. However, some others did. Murph, what do you see looking at this list? Do any of these people have a chance? Thoughts?
So did Bill M miss week 1? Okay. So I'm not gonna give Bill M too much shit. He missed week 1, so that was 6 points off the board that he could have had. I was gonna say top 3 season guy, and he's on the second chart. Not good. Yeah. I don't know, man.
So how many
points? It's tough when you have less games and they're more points. It makes a difference.
Yeah, because like you said, I think we have 2 games to pick this week, totaling 6 points. But most of the people are going to have 6 points, 3 points, or 0. So, you got to find a way to be in that 6 point this week. Again, the perfect spread thus far in eight games, 14 points, the most you can get. Bill was halfway there on 1 week. Not a bad week, Bill. You beat anyone else on this list. Let's get into the actual leaderboard. Murph, I'm going to let you speak on it first when I flash it, man. I'm not going to steal the nuggets that you see before you see them. Thoughts on the actual playoff Danger Zone Pick'em leaderboard shown now?
I think it was 10 games, right? Was it 6 the first go around, and then you get 8 points the next time, so it's 4 games. Yeah. So 10 games. we got a fellow on here that went 10 for 10. Now, I wasn't a math major when I went to college, but I do think that equates to 100%, right? I'm not 100% sure there. But yeah, wow. Okay. Huh.
Wait. So how many games did you miss, Murph?
I believe
Carry
10,
the one.
10 minus 10 equals 0? 0. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So that makes you first overall.
Yeah, I think so, unless somebody somehow got 11 out of 10 games. I don't know how that works.
Carry the one. Carry the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get my notebook out here.
Okay. Moving on, Murph. I know you don't want to.
All right. Yeah, I'm running out of breath from taking all these victory laps.
Thoughts on the rest of the list? One thing I'm noticing is that you had the best week 1 performance. You also had the best week 2 performance, sir.
Nobody else got all 4 week 2 games? Really? Oh, I thought somebody else had gotten that. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Any other shout outs you might want to give, or do you just want to take them all, Murph?
No. I am not by any chance confident that I'm winning this. As much shit as I'm talking, because I like to talk a little shit. I'm not, dude. Clancy and Havmo are right at my heels. 3 points isn't shit. I could get one game wrong and they could get both games right and they're tied with me. Just that easy. Boom. That's all it takes. So I by no means think I have this locked up, but I'm trying to keep focused, eyes towards the next game, right? It's what all the athletes say. We're on to week, whatever the next week is.
I'm with you. Folks, if you have no idea what the hell this is or what we're talking about, basically, we have picked every playoff game in the NFL, who we think will win each one, and then points are assigned to each one. And all you got to do is put it in the chat who you think, and we're about to do that now. But wild card weekend, they were all worth 1 point. Divisional round, they were all worth 2 points. This week, they're all worth 3 points. And then next week, worth 4. So there's still 10 more points to get. I mean, Murph has 14. If you have 5 and he goes 0 for 3 and you go 3 and 3, all of a sudden you got 15 and he has 14. So stick around. Make sure you pick the games. Make sure you pick the opposite of Murph. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe you want to ride Murph's coattails and you can get second on here. You don't know. However you see these games playing out. Honestly, I think anyone on slide 1 still has a chance to get top 1 or 2 or 3. Bill M, I think, will still give it the old college try. He's only 1 point behind this slide here. All right. So that pretty much explains it. We're not dealing in point spreads. We're just dealing in money lines. Murph, you want to go first? You want to go second? Because there's only 2 games to talk about.
I usually start us off, so I'll start. The American Football Conference, the AFC Championship, something that Jets fans have been talking about for 16 years now. Hey, we went to the AFC Championship. We went to the AFC Championship. Well, these teams went, and one of these teams is going beyond, which is something we haven't done since 69. We have our damn New England Patriots. We have the Patriots once again back in the mix, potentially going to a Super Bowl. and they are traveling to Colorado to is it still Mile High Stadium, or they changed the name, I think. To play the Denver Broncos, number 1 seed versus number 2 seed. Not to give any shockers there, number 1 versus number 2. The Broncos, guys, if y'all don't know, if you happen to not pay attention last week and you don't realize what happened, right at the end of the game, Bo Nix somehow magically broke his ankle. At the end of the game was pretty much over, and he somehow broke his ankle.
You know what happened to the bone in his ankle, Murph?
I do not. Fractured.
It quacked.
Yeah, maybe he should have ducked instead of dodged. I don't know. So now the Denver Broncos are paving the way for the New England Patriots to have an easier shot at going to the Super Bowl. I don't know. The Broncos are starting Jarrett Stidham, who is a guy that's been in the league for a while. He actually spent a little bit of time on the Patriots. Hasn't started a game in almost 2 years, I think. But they still have Sean Payton, you know. It's just like Andy Reid, Kevin O'Connell, Kyle Shanahan. Like those type of coaches have their quarterbacks ready, you know. They still have a solid defense. It's not a great defense like the Houston Texans was or something like that, but they are a solid defense. And they're feisty, man. They got talent on that team. They play good ball. And if it goes into the fourth quarter and it requires a fourth quarter comeback, that's not something that's new to them. You know, how many times have they, been down going into the fourth quarter and still won the game? I don't know the exact record, but it's impressive. Like, the team is gritty. But the Patriots actually have their starting quarterback in Drake May, who is likely going to finish probably second in MVP voting. Second or third, I'd say. Had an incredible season. Him and Diggs have a hell of a connection, right? It almost gets you choked up when you think about it. The defense, Patriots defense, has been playing excellent ball, especially in the playoffs. They got Travion Henderson, I don't know. Dane, do you have anything else to add? Any other injuries or anything I didn't mention?
It does look like Troy Franklin's probably going to be a game time decision for them. JL Skinner, their safety, questionable. Denver's center, Forsyth, questionable. But J.K. Dobbins, who everyone expected to maybe make his return now, ruled out. I think everybody else is pretty fairly on board. They just don't get Dobbins. They may not have Franklin, but at the same time, they still have Sutton and Mims, and I forget the other guy, but they have plenty of weapons. It's more so for me, like, how much of a step down is it going from Nix to Stidham? They're also in Denver. They're also several years into a system. New England's in year one. Ooh, man, this is peak football. I mean, we have 3 football games left the next 8 months. They're 3 very good ones. Very good. Yeah, Boss Girl says Broncos defense needs to dominate. It's a pick 'em, man. Murph, you've been perfect. I don't think there's much that makes you anxious when it comes to picking, since you do have a wide cushion. I want to invite you to select the winner of the AFC Championship game first, unless you unless you're scared to.
Not scared to. I think you're wanting to piggyback off me, Dane. No. I literally have not made these picks. I have thought about these games, both of these games, and I have not settled on a team in my head. And I'm literally about to settle on a team right now. And I've been so back and forth with it. It's mind versus heart, right? Like my mind tells me that hey, the Patriots have their starting quarterback. They're going. They have what they need. The defense, everything's put together. They have all the pieces they need. Uh, the Broncos don't. Easy decision, right? It's my mind. My heart says, I don't know. That Broncos team is feisty, and fuck the Patriots. That's what my heart says.
I'm willing to go first if
No, I know, and
I know who I want. Fuck it.
well, I know who I want, but I know who I'm going to pick also, and it happens to coincide with who I want. I think that Broncos team is feisty, and I think Sean Payton's going to have them ready. He's an experienced coach. He's won a Super Bowl before. He knows what he's doing, and I think that Jarrett Stidham will play just well enough to do it. And I think the Denver Broncos are taking it.
Murph, I came into this also not picking ultimately with my gut who I want, but I also knew that it behooves me to pick against you. I'm not going to do that because I do think the Denver Broncos at home with Jarrett Stidham, even so, take care of business, man. Call me crazy. Hey, man, I'm only 5 points down from Murph. I can afford to do it. But it's less about trying to overtake Murph, and it's more about how do I accumulate the most points I can. Fuck the standings. That's how everyone should approach it. Put your best resume out there. Maybe DayngerZone Pick'em will sign you to a contract next year, but you got to have points, okay? And hey, it's a pick'em game, but for me, it's not, man. I think that Knicks to Stidham is marginal, a marginal drop off. If Knicks was playing this game, I would be picking the Broncos. I'm gonna do it again. Give me a pick from Surtain too. Why not? JFM, go out with a bang, bro.
The one thing I want to say is like if CJ Stroud wasn't CJ Stroud, the Patriots wouldn't be here right now. You know, like if CJ Stroud was Jarrett Stidham, probably, like the Patriots would not be here right now. But the Texans, like Stroud, just completely fucked it up for him. I don't think that Sean Payton will let a quarterback do that for him.
I agree. I don't think he would have retained Stidham over a second overall picked quarterback like Zach Wilson if he didn't believe in Stidham.
Yeah.
No, jokes aside, man. Everything you hear out of that, and of course they're saying that this week, but like everything you hear out of them is they're actually confident that there isn't going to be much of a decline there. They like Stidham. He played a couple years ago with them. He's played in the preseason with them. He's always played well. At the same time, he's going against a MVP caliber quarterback. Maybe New England comes and they just pick him apart, but like I don't see it. Broncos. Yeah. Final answer, Broncos. Do we have a pick from Miss Murph on this game, Murph?
She had to go downstairs to take care of some stuff, but she did leave me at least with this pick. She has New England taking it. I think the quarterback scare was enough to put her over the edge, and she took New England.
I saw Jerry's pick in the chat. I'm not sure I saw too many others clearly defined. So, folks, if you're watching us, if you're one of the 20 watching us, you haven't just clearly typed out Patriots or Broncos, you better do that now, or you will not stand to get 3 points this week for that selection. Fine. You know what? Depending on Scott's answer, Miss Murph might owe us a Teen Wolf call. We'll get back to that. We'll circle back, of course. But
hopefully she's practiced.
Yeah, hopefully she's getting properly coached, just like the Broncos and the Patriots were. All right. Next up, moving on to the West Coast, Murph. Again, I mean, hey, Denver, that's not that far. It seems like the East can't host a playoff game anymore. But anyways, the LA Rams, Matt Stafford, Super Bowl champion Matt Stafford, rolling up into the Pacific Northwest, about 5, 6, 7, 8 hours north of me, something like that. It's like 8 hours south is coming up to face 8 hours north over here, man. The Rams traveling into maybe the hardest place to play on planet Earth, the 12th man, that is the Seattle Seahawks. Darnold versus Stafford? Ugh. On paper, I don't know, man. But at the same time, Seattle, they lost Charbonnet, man. He's out. At the same time, Kenneth Walker has looked phenomenal. So is that anything? I don't know. On the Rams side, Kyron Williams had 25 touches last week. Puka, 50 yards, nothing. Kyron Williams carried them last week, man. For real. He carried them. They won by 3. Now they're traveling to Seattle, another tough defense. Is this a Kyron Williams game? I think it is, but, still got Puka, still got Devontae. I think this game's even more exciting than the one prior, but I think it's just as hard to choose. How much do you believe in Darnold? Stafford is sniffing another trophy. How much does that factor in? You got McVay versus McDonald. McDonald's a coach of the year candidate. Tough, man. Is there anything you can add just like detail wise to this game?
Yeah. Charbonnet keeps getting brought up, but Kenneth Walker just had like 3 rushing touchdowns last game. Rookie year, remember everybody was high on Brees, well, Kenneth Walker got drafted, same year, close too. I think it was pretty close, those two together. Kenneth Walker also had an excellent year. Like, he's a very talented running back. So I don't think it's the last game of the year. It's all out on the shelf. Like, these dudes, like they're not afraid to give it 110%. They're not. Who cares if they overdo it, overextend themselves? They get to rest for a while after this. So I don't think they're worried about it. You have a potentially elite offense. Matt Stafford, probably MVP. Very likely MVP this year, if you look at the statistics, versus arguably the best defense in the league. I mean, it's probably between them and the Texans, right? And the Seahawks just made Kyle Shanahan pull his hair out entirely. He had no answer for that defense. He didn't know what the hell to do. Brock Purdy was brick turdy that game. Like, I mean, they had nothing. Christian McCaffrey was Christian Al McCaffrey. Like, I don't know. That was bad. I know. the 49ers team had nothing against that Seahawks defense, but also the 49ers team is banged up. They're not their 100% selves, and the Rams, they're not quite as they're. I mean, they may have a couple injuries, but they're not. They're not near as banged up. They have star talent, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Matt Stafford. Like, that is an offense to be reckoned with. It's, unstoppable force meets immovable object, right? That's the way I like to look at it.
Damn, Murph. I see you. Way better than the other metaphor you had.
Ouch, Mike Caffrey.
Dude, yeah. Hazel cooks me over mine, but she lets that one slide. What? You know what? Before we get into more of this, the big fella chimes in, and thank you, sir, for joining us here on a Friday night. Super chatting $1.99. He says Sam and Leonard Williams beating the Pats will hit like crack. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it would. The thing is, though, what worries me is if it got to that point, they wouldn't. They would have like PTSD and completely shut down, and it would be a mess. But it doesn't matter because the Broncos are going to beat the Patriots.
All right. Well, dude, again, you got McVay and Stafford. How much experience do they have in the playoffs? Quite a bit. Versus Darnold and Mike McDonald. How much do they have? Seems like an easy answer when you frame it like that, but it's obviously not. They're in Seattle. I think it's a pick'em game. I didn't really look at this. It might be a 4-point spread or some shit. Nothing crazy. Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams, I think that's a washout. JSN, Puka, I think that's a washout. And then you go defense. Like, this game could go either way, I reckon, as Havmo would say. Tough choice. Before we get into your final answer, Murph, I would be remiss not to highlight a fantastic super chat that just came in, sir. We got to stall because maybe, just maybe Squatch Foster will roll in. But regardless, man, super chats cut the line. Murph, you want to take this one away?
Jet content legend and our good buddy Jake Asman in here with a super chat. Buck99 says AG has put together a tremendous staff. Go Jets. No sarcasm at all.
Yeah, not at all. I don't sense it when it's, written form.
Yeah. Jake, hey, maybe he's going to make some changes, some positive changes. I'm with you. I'm not high on him, Jake, but listen, he just fired 7 dudes, and maybe he'll bring the right 7 in, and it will make a difference.
I don't know if Jake met our new DC. We'll see, man. We'll see. We will see. Maybe we'll be chopping it up 12 months from now. Can the Jets beat one of these teams in the Final Four? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Anyways, Jake, appreciate it. $2, man. You're a legend, like Murph said. We got to get you on here, man, to chop it up this off season as well. Murph, Rams at Hawks. I've already seen some Hawks love in the chat. Couple Rams picks. Where do you stand on this one?
So early in the season, probably, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 games into the season, I kind of targeted the Rams and I said, that's the team. That's the one. That's the one I saw doing it actually. And then as a few more weeks went by, and I said, you know what? I think it's going to be L.A. and Denver. I said that, you know, several weeks ago to myself. Whatever. Maybe I said it on here. I don't know.
Oh my God, you're picking the Seahawks.
Stafford has been, excellent, and that team is an excellent team. But I don't think, as good as the offense is, I don't think they're like the greatest show on turf. And what's our good buddy Squatch, old Sasquatch, say? He says, "What's the best unit out on the field?" And I think the Seahawks have the best unit out on the field, and it's the Seattle Seahawks, led by their defense. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Well played. Well played. I like it. So you went with the corny old 1 seeds to go on. I see you, Murph.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
somebody has 14 points. I don't know who it is. So.
Good point. Very good. 14 points, I would say. Very good.
You have double digits yet?
You know what? I didn't see it. It was too small a font.
Too small a number. Come talk to me when you get double digits.
You know what? I'm not gonna. You know what? You can victory lap again next week, Murph, because I'm gonna take it one bite at a time. And let me just say, I was hoping to God that you would have picked either the Patriots or the Seahawks, because I came into this thinking Denver, LA, baby, just like you said you had a while back. I'm there, man. I will stand with you and say Denver. I will stand against you in the NFC, though, and I'm going Rams. And I'll tell you why, man. Seattle has had trouble on the left side of their line. I think Jared Verse puts in phenomenal performance at home, on the road. Sorry, but high stakes, dude. I think he is the difference maker. I do think the totality of the Seahawks defense is better. I do, but I think LA's experience will show through, and also like if it becomes a shootout, who do you trust? I mean, I think you, having picked the Seahawks, would even say you trust the Rams if it's a shootout. If it's not, different story. But like that sways me when it comes to a coin flip. I like the Rams, man. I'm gonna bet on Stafford, who is the only guy on this list to have made a Super Bowl. I'm gonna stick with McVay, who has been to the Super Bowls more recently than any of these other guys.
When they had Aaron
Darnold for sure. Sam Darnold, Aaron Donald, whatever, man. Rams, final answer.
Hey, that's fair. And I did get a text from Mrs. Murphy. She is also going the Rams. She's been high on them all year, and she thinks they're taking it all away. So we don't know what Scott's doing, but as of right now,
folks, if you've done this with us all along, appreciate you. I did see some picks in the chat. Trying to find them. Okay, Sharon, Rams. I had some combo picks earlier, but I'm skipping past those. I think Boss Girl wants Seattle. I need to double check that. But, dude, it's a split game. Both these games are insane to pick.
Yeah.
Let me go back to this, though. Like 6 points up for grabs. we could be looking back next week and Clancy's tied for the lead with Murph. We could look back and Havmo is, I got to check their picks and see who they took, but like 3-point difference will climb the charts. Imagine you get a 6-point difference. It's a game. Right now, though, Murph undefeated, and that has to stop. I mean, we can all agree on that. That has to stop.
Well, it very well may, because these were two games that was borderline impossible to pick. It was tough. I was so back and forth. I've been back and forth all week, all day. Thought about it several times, and in the end, I just said, you know what? I'll listen to my gut, and that's what my gut told me: Denver and Seattle.
John Bogo, I don't know if that's short for his last name or if he is a buy one get one guy. I don't know. He'll have to tell us. But he goes Patriots, Rams. Rams win it all. Stafford MVP. Yeah, I can
think
see
that's a
it.
popular take. I think that's going to be the consensus. Most people think Pats Rams, and I get it. It makes sense, but I went with my gut this time.
Oh yeah, your picks aside, I mean, I respect his for sure. Although I think Kyron Williams will clearly be the MVP. Come on, uh, has nothing to do with my fantasy team whatsoever. Um, but yeah, all right, Murph. That concludes our pick'em segment. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of heartbroken that Sasquatch didn't make it. We're gonna have to never let him live that down. Might even have to tell him that his picks are worth half now. But you know what? While I have you, I know you're over time. I'm not gonna keep you more than another 3 minutes, but I want to ask you what you think of our playoff fantasy standings / leaderboard through the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, sir.
You couldn't help but to try to knock me down a peg, could you? You couldn't help it. Hey, I had a pretty good week last week, but so did a lot of other people. Is a problem. Uh, Seahawks defense did well for me. Um, Bo Nix getting injured sucks. Anthony, there's just I don't think anybody's topping Anthony. I think first place is already locked up.
As do I. He's got
But
5 players left, and that just to make you guys aware, like Anthony is the Jets Life podcast. You've seen him on the channel, killing it.
crazy to have 5 players left going this deep and be the top point scorer at that. Man. Yeah. But second and third are achievable for pretty much anybody on the list, I think.
Let me ask you this. Buy me 60 seconds because I am letting you go after that. What do you think when I say, hey, second overall and 9th is 40 points away? I mean, that can happen. Do you think that people from 5 to 9 can stand a chance at still making it into the top 3 and taking home something?
Yeah, I think absolutely that the 5 to 9. Yeah, dude. I mean, JT in fifth, he's only 30 points down. And he's got an extra player because every 60 PMR, that's something minutes remaining, playoff minutes remaining, or something like that, or player minutes remaining. Every 60 player minutes remaining is a player, right? So JT has 3 players, Charles has 2, and there's only a 30-point difference between the two. If Charles' 2 players tank, then JT's players go off. It's very achievable. Yeah. So 5 through 9, absolutely, they got a chance. Even 10, Johnny, old Poppy Lovesock, he's got the second most players remaining. So you can't count that out. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It really just depends. I think it's really going to come down to who goes to the Super Bowl. You know, I think that those two teams, because after these games, there's going to be hardly any players left. It's going to be two teams worth, and I don't know. It really depends, but I think everybody here has really got a shot to at least make it in the second or third. But I think Anthony's got it locked up. 5 players remaining, 208 points. That's crazy. Crazy talk. Clancy, I see you in here. He's what, sixth? Yeah. Yeah. Just a hair behind JT. Yeah, Clancy's up in there.
Clancy is, let's see what he has real quick.
He's hoping for that Puka Nakua game is what he's hoping for.
He's got Travion.
Yeah. Yeah. Patriots kicker too. I mean, yeah.
It's not Nick Folk, but it's something. Yeah, like you said, man, it's going to highly depend on who makes it all the way. Anthony, like you said, man, powerhouse. Not only does he have 5 players remaining now, after the wild card weekend, he still had 8 out of 9. Solid, man. Maybe I need to do that next year. Take the guys that have a week 1 bye, and that way, hey, you still have a little nest egg that can, kind of come alive. But
that's kind of what I did to an extent. Not everybody, but like my quarterback, Denver, defense, Seattle, and I had a wide receiver 2 or something for Seattle. Like I tried to look at those guys, but man, I lost a lot of points in that first round because of it.
That's a good point. That you're definitely, obviously the strategy is to take a wild card team that makes it all the way, because then you get 4 games out of them. But damn, is that hard?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very hard. I respect the profile pick, Daniel, as well. Who's next, baby? All right, man. Final thoughts for the 20 still watching. Anything you want to say? I mean, we saw Mendoza hoist in the past week. We've seen the Jets interview DCs. We've seen them fire staff. I don't know what else we've missed, but anything you want to say? Maybe you just want to look ahead instead of behind. You have the floor, sir.
Hey, it's free agency and draft season, right? It's off season. That's where the Jets shine. We love it because we usually have high draft picks. We end up dumping players. We end up having a lot of money. So this is our time to shine. So guys, enjoy it. Research your players, find your favorites. Root for the Jets to sign or draft them. Like I'm going to be doing it too. Like seriously, it's fun. And keep tuning into the Danger Zone, and we'll chat it up. And we'll discuss players, and we'll argue back and forth, and it's all pointless in the end because none of us have an actual control over what happens, but it's still fun. Keep coming back, finish the pick'ems with us. Let's see how it goes. Enjoy the playoffs this Sunday. It's only one game or one day this week, just Sunday. Enjoy the playoffs this Sunday, and if you're on the eastern side of the United States, be safe out there. We're about to get nailed with a bunch of snow tomorrow. Some people are acting like it's the end of the world. It's not going to be, but still be safe. Try to stay indoors if you can, if you don't have to work or whatever. And if you do have to go out, drive safe, and just enjoy your weekend, guys and gals.
Stock up on bread and milk, right?
God, I went to the grocery store yesterday, and there wasn't a cart available, not a buggy one in the entire like store. They were all out, and yeah, every register was 8 or 9 people deep. It was nuts, man.
You know, I would like to throw out a challenge before you exit. I want to get your thoughts on it, man. But the last few weeks, maybe even the last 2 months, man, boss girl, on point, knowledgeable, has takes. I'd invite her to call in one night, man, or maybe even co-host tonight. I'd like to get her thoughts on a couple of these. Dude, she's more plugged in than I think any of us. She has takes out the wazoo. I don't want to put her on the spot, man, but it would be cool to, get her thoughts on some things when it comes to this New York Jet off season. Don't even know if she's still here. But yeah, just throw that challenge out there for her if she's interested. Would love to, again, pick her brain. Yeah, Boss Girl, she hasn't been picking in the playoffs. I realize that. But anytime we get really into an interesting topic, she's right there with a take of her own. So yeah, we'll see what the next couple weeks bring. We do plan on providing you folks with a free agency primer, and we teased that earlier. We're gonna have Ryan on, maybe even have Dom C here. Last year we had Dom C on the week of the combine, and I'm trying to time it the same because I thought that was very beneficial to be, seeing the guys work out and getting Dom's thoughts at the same time. So that's on the horizon. Maybe we can get Nolan Rich on here or Anthony, the Jets life, and we can just do a big ass free agency episode because last year I think a lot of Jets content skipped over free agency and they just did the draft for like 6 months straight. And I, as a viewer, was so burnt out on it. And I said to myself, why didn't we spend 2 months on free agents, get that done, then go to the draft? Easier said than done. But again, I do think we need to give some breath, some time to the free agent class, see where that goes. Murph, thoughts on that and potentially getting Boss Girl on here one night?
Yeah, so it's one thing at a time, right? That's it's just like a player. Players, it's one game at a time. Win or lose, you have to let's focus on next week and be the best we can be for next week. It's the same thing like with free agency, then draft. And we won't know really shit about who we're going to draft if we have no idea who we picked up in free agency, because that can change everything. I don't know how many times I've watched a bunch of draft content, free agency hits, and then all of a sudden it completely changes everything. I remember was it the Trey McBride year where all of us wanted Trey McBride, and then we went and signed CJ Uzama and Tyler Conklin that offseason. I think it was Trey McBride. I could be wrong. And it was, it completely threw everything for a loop because everybody was all over Trey McBride, dude. That's who we wanted. And, yeah, that's how it goes. But, yeah, there's plenty of stuff to talk about, guys. There's plenty of things that we're going to hire a new defensive coordinator. We're going to have a lot of things to analyze and look over. And as far as having her come in and having her on or whatever, yeah, she's been excellent in the chat. When she dropped the EMW, I was blown away. I was like, how do you know? It's like a mid-second round prospect maybe, and she just like that knew exactly what I was talking about. Holy cow.
Dude, she's even plugged into the Mets channels I'm on. I'm like, damn, I see you everywhere.
All over it. So props for sure.
For sure. Murph, all right, man. Let's do that. Let's go out together for once, man. It's been forever since we've done that. I could stick around, but I think the chat's ready, man. Let's put the kibosh on it, man. Have a good start to your weekend, and catch us this Sunday night with Jets Chaos right here. And also, if you guys have been watching me on Green Bean's channel with Chaos every Sunday morning the last month or so, you won't have to this weekend. There will be another more gray or white bearded gentleman there. Not me. So you'll see me Sunday night right here. Check us out. Murph, have a good night, brother.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. JTS, Jets.
We can't all be beautiful.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride.
You're in the danger zone.
Totally back row.